Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Earley. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Time for a football conversation.
There's never a bad time to talk about football, especially Texas A&M football.
How you doing, Buchanan?
I'm doing well, Nuño.
Good. I like when we go last name basis. So yesterday, Coach Elko on his show talked a little bit about, there's several things I want to get into. He had a lot of good quotes that I think make for interesting talking points. One of the things he said was, we didn't get enough credit for going down to the swamp last year and winning that game. You saw what they did in the back half of the year, and look at the teams that they beat in the swamp since then. They have 3 top 10 wins. You know, Sark definitely made that known that, you know, it's hard to go win in Florida, especially with a first-year starting quarterback. Oh, wait, that's what A&M did last year.
Yeah.
I believe that to be the case.
A&M's guy was making his first career start.
Ever, yeah. Huh.
Wow.
But the point is, it is a hard place to play.
It is.
That is a hard roster to play against. And A&M is not going to get that same roster, or maybe even a little bit better version of that roster here Saturday.
Yes. It looks like a good roster. I think I still don't know what to think about Florida. Let me put it this way. I'm more impressed that Florida, I wish I had the score by quarters, but as I recall, going into the fourth quarter against Miami, that was a pretty competitive game. I think I'm more impressed with that close loss. I think it was competitive, and then I think Miami scored
I feel like
late and pulled away. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
I feel like that game was actually not close, and then Florida made it close.
Going into the fourth quarter, it was 13-7.
Oh,
Miami
okay, it was,
See?
yeah.
So, to me, that impresses me more about Florida than beating Texas, because I'm starting to think I just don't think Texas is very good.
Yeah, 13-7 entering that quarter, and then Miami scored 13 points in the fourth quarter, which sounds similar to what happened with Mississippi State and A&M, where A&M really, not necessarily score-wise, but they took over that game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I just don't know I didn't watch that game, so I don't know all the dynamics to it. Like, we both saw the A&M Mississippi State game, and, you know, you've mentioned it before. If A&M, and they didn't, but if they score when they had first and goal at the 2, they got a touchdown there instead of getting stopped. I think it just changes the way that game feels, looks, you know.
I agree,
out.
1,000%, especially the way the defense was playing. So this brings up this next thing. This is the exciting part, okay? Because would you agree Coach Elko doesn't just say things to say things?
Yeah.
Okay. We're really close to unlocking this thing. The kids are working hard to get it where we know it's capable of getting. We're really close. Woo-hoo-hoo, buddy!
Well, I hope so, you know.
I know, like...
He didn't say they're just trying to find the inches, but, you know, I guess I got kind of beat down with the, it's close kind of thing. But, yeah, look, we all saw Auburn. Well, what he means is we're this close to getting our guys to stop holding and false starts. Because Auburn... That's a 30-point win, if not for the penalties.
By the way, speaking of holding, you know the great Jim Turner.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the show later. We recorded it yesterday. The interview with him is fantastic. But then when he explains holding, first off, he disagrees with a couple of the calls.
I'm sure.
Like, and I believe the Javon Thomas holding, I think it's the one he was talking about. He's like, that wasn't holding. That being said, on the punt return, That being said, Nick, how would you describe it? Not a dramatic interpretation, but it was a reenactment, right? It was like an old Civil War reenactment. He shows how to block on me with a tackle dummy.
Yeah, well, the week before he got Brawny involved to hold the dummy, and yesterday it was you. So
Wait,
the two best episodes by far.
He was holding himself?
That's kind of redundant.
Yeah.
So when that launches on TexAgs.com, you'll definitely want to see it because he goes into it. And we'll obviously have the interview portion here on the show, TexAgs Live. So some of the other things. Okay, but sticking to the unlocking things. To me, that means he knows there's another level this offense can go to, and there's another level this defense can go to.
I think there's another level that Marcel Reed can go to.
Okay.
And I think when, we talk about the penalties, but I think Marcel Reed is kind of the key there. It occurred to me, not organically, it was because I was watching the replay. And on Marcel's interception, Jordan Rodgers is calling the game, ex-quarterback, and he's pointing out, hey, you don't throw that ball because you can see that the linebacker got great depth.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you see the linebacker's not where he's supposed to be, you check down. And maybe he feels like that's where Marcel's going to start showing up is like, I'm not going to force things because I learn from that and take the check down when it's there and things. I never had a problem with his interception at Notre Dame. I mean, I wish I hadn't thrown it.
Yeah.
But it was the right read. He had one-on-one coverage. He just happened to have one-on-one coverage, and Leonard Moore was the one. But, maybe that's – I wonder if we were able to dig deeper if that's what he's talking about.
It'll be great to have Bryce Anderson back, Coach Elko says, this week. He's healthy and running around out there. We should have Scooby Williams this week, too.
Okay.
Depth, baby. There's the initial injury report.
Be at full strength or as close as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we've said it before, over and over. At the end of the year, you show me a really successful team, championship caliber teams, and almost always their injuries are minimal.
But just depth is going to be so important. Getting Scooby back will be great. And now that we know that Damian Sanford is playing at this level, you can interchange the two. Right. You have a lot more wiggle room here.
Sure.
Another thing that he said that I was interested in.
Okay.
And this goes back to this game.
Did you go or did you just?
No. TexAgs does a great job of tweeting it out, and I use the ones that catch my attention. Yeah. I like to bring up. The margins are so small. Talking about the SEC, nobody outside of this business can really see how small the margins are. That's why coaches are so stressed all the time because you're always going to be this close, and that is why I worry about these games.
Of course,
because I've seen it. We've all seen it. Right? Everybody who watches this show and listens to the show has felt it. Like the Notre Dame game is an extra point away from being an overtime game, or an amazing pass to Nate Borgercher and catch from a loss, right?
Or a couple of overthrows away from being a blowout.
And by the way, Auburn as well. Like Mississippi State as well. There was a couple balls that we'd like to get back.
When I think about how competitive the SEC is night in and night out, day in and day out, I think about A&M going to Mississippi State in 2016 with Trevor Knight and getting hurt, and you're losing that game when they're 4-7 and you're
6-1, I think.
Yeah, and then I think about on the other and better memories. I think about LSU coming here a couple of years ago, ranked like number 4 or 5 or whatever, and already won the West, and thinking, hey, we're going to get a cakewalk tonight, and then go beat Georgia and get into the playoff. And A&M controls the games, run up and down the field on them. If you're not ready to play on any particular game, you can lose because the bad teams in the SEC usually are good.
Are pretty darn good. All right. Where are the upsets going to come from this weekend, OB? First off, if you were to have to, I know you don't have the slate in front of you. You want me to throw you some games?
Throw me some games.
Okay. Potential upset, Auburn over Georgia?
Yeah, I think that's, in fact, if I had to list off the top of my head, that would be number 1.
I bet you I have one that might be ahead of that one.
Okay.
Because I think I know you well. OU over Texas, which sounds weird, but isn't Texas favored?
Yeah, but
is that considered an upset?
I don't think so.
To me, an upset is like nobody sees it coming.
Especially when one team is ranked 6th and the other's unranked. And I know rankings doesn't play into what the Vegas guys do, but no, I think I would even think that if you wanted to say, hey, I wanted to make a stunning upset call, I'd take Texas, even if they're favored. To me, that'd be an upset.
Without Mateer,
Oklahoma's playing good football.
Texas isn't.
I guess Texas isn't.
Okay. How about Mizzou over Bama?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, I don't think so.
I think they're going to be exposed.
I heard some guys talking on one of the radio shows, one of the national guys talking about how they think Missouri's going to win and all this. And I do think it'll be a relatively competitive game, but Missouri hadn't played anybody.
Yeah.
Kansas. They played Kansas. And South Carolina. And both of those games were very close, uncomfortably close if you're a Mizzou fan.
How about this one? Any chance your new favorite team, Indiana, over Oregon?
Well, I didn't think they would beat Illinois, and then they just absolutely spanked them.
Curb stomp.
But I would still, and you know what? Oregon did have a little bit of a hard time for a while with Northwestern. So yeah, there's a chance. But I think, where's that game?
I believe
it's in Indiana. Yeah.
Bloomington?
Oh no. Sorry, it's in
Eugene?
Oregon.
Okay. Yeah, I would. I would be skeptical that Indiana's going to pull that off.
I agree with you. Here's one that I don't think you will say this will happen, but maybe.
Okay.
Arkansas over Tennessee. The Bobby Petrinos now.
Yeah. Well,
bye week.
Bobby's been running the offense anyway.
Yeah, but now it's his show. Okay? It's his show, baby. Fired the whole defensive staff.
No. You know, that defense is slow. And I think, what's his name, Chris Brazel?
Yeah.
I think he's going to have just a crazy game.
I agree with you there.
Tennessee receiver.
How about this one? I keep saying how about. How about South Carolina over LSU in Baton Rouge?
Possible.
Really?
Yeah, because, well, first of all, anytime, I'd take LSU.
Yeah.
But anytime you have a quarterback like Lenore Sellers who's capable of doing things, and I know this is only a shadow of what the South Carolina defense was last year, but LSU really struggles to score. So think of it as LSU's struggling to score. It gets to the fourth quarter. It's a 3-point game here or there, and you got Lenore Sellers at the end of the game with a chance to do something. He breaks a tackle.
Yeah.
He scrambles, and boom, South Carolina. I would pick LSU, but I would say that I think that's a possibility for South Carolina.
Last one for you.
Okay.
Kind of an uncomfortable one.
Okay.
Florida over A&M.
Of course it's possible. But I think this is a really good A&M team. If they were going into the swamp, I'd be thinking, okay.
I don't know about this one.
But at home, at night, I do think A&M's the better team. I hope you know what? If I wish I could get into practice and watch, which I rarely would ever say. This is a high school thing, so people throw it up. But in 1989, I was covering a Chapel Hill team that won the state championship. They beat A&M Consolidated, and I was at a practice, and this one kid's with the ball running, and some kid just blows him up. I mean, just knocks the tar out of him, and the kid gets up that got hit, and he gets up and he goes straight to the guy and says, "They're going to have a fight."
Yeah,
and he goes, "That's a good hit. Do it on Saturday." And you develop a championship mentality when you know what's at stake and what you're capable of. And if A&M has that championship mentality that, you're Coach Sherrill talked about it. You're practicing hard and it's important to you. And I don't know, but I kind of feel like that's how this team is.
New game. I just thought of it right now. Olin Buchanan, thought process on July the 18th, 2025, when you think about the road games A&M has, okay? You looked at it as, maybe they can go 2-2, right? At that time, you looked at it like, I don't know if they're going to be able, going to Notre Dame, yeah, I guess they can win that game, but it's going to be, going to Baton Rouge, oh my God, they haven't won since 1994.
Yeah.
Oh, Texas, they're the number one team in the country, winning on the, as Mizzou, they shouldn't be as good, we should be able to win that. So thinking about those road games, then, thinking about those road games now, much more winnable, right?
Right. Well, at the time, I'd have said 2-2. Right. I would have said you're probably the games you're probably going to win. You had the best chance to win or Notre Dame.
And that was not you weren't thinking it was a win. You were saying that's a maybe win, right?
Because we always said that Notre Dame defense cannot be what it was last year, and it hasn't been. And then I would have said Missouri because of Luther Burden and all those guys.
All the guys that they lost. Yep.
And I said, well, I think we even said it. You got to win in Baton Rouge again before I'm going to say you can win in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. And you're still saying that, but
yeah. But they all look. In fact, I would expect no worse than 3-1. I'm thinking 4-0.
Well, today again, Maroon Juice 5-0. Everything's going the right way for us. Things haven't looked great for Texas, and LSU's got some bigger question marks than A&M does. Today, you look at it. I would say Mizzou today seems like a harder test than we thought. We might have a different opinion on Monday.
Right.
Okay. Today, that seems harder than we thought. LSU, still just as hard as it always is, no matter what their record is. But I feel better about that matchup today. And I certainly feel better about that matchup with Texas today than I did on July the 18th or whatever day we were at SEC Media Days.
Yeah. I would say as far as Missouri goes, it's take out South Carolina because they've actually played each other. But if you took South Carolina, a team that's struggling, and put South Carolina against the Missouri schedule, what do you think South Carolina's record would be?
Maybe one loss, maybe not.
Maybe they lost to Kansas. Maybe.
Show me do you have that?
Well, they started off with Central Arkansas.
That's a win.
And then
they had Kansas the next week, I believe.
Was it Kansas?
Yeah, and I think South Carolina beats Kansas. I think they beat Louisiana. And, well, they already beat.
There's another one up there.
South Carolina and UMass. So they'd have one loss.
Maybe. Well, maybe they lost to Kansas.
No, I'm saying because Missouri and South Carolina already played. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I said take that one out.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if that was South Carolina playing that schedule except for their game, I would say South Carolina is very possibly 4-0.
Yeah.
And that's why Missouri has so much to prove this week.
Maybe. We'll certainly find out about it. What's the name of the show?
This is the TexAgs Live, the Go Hour of part of TexAgs Live.
Yeah. TexAgs Live has a sponsor. We have a presenting sponsor. Yeah. Oh,
you want to?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
David Gardner from David Gardner's Jewelers. He's a gem of a guy.
This studio, we've named it. We've branded it.
Was the Rollo Insurance Studio for Jason Jackson and the boys.
Yeah, I was texting with Jason just yesterday. This hour, as you mentioned, is the Go Hour.
Yeah, the Go Hour.
We had to get somebody to pay some bills because you're a very expensive co-host.
I am, and we thank you, Warehouse at CC Creations.
Thank you so much for that. And then, let's see, we're currently hanging out in an area that had to be branded as well because we want to sit up high, royalty.
That's right, because that's cool.
It's the
and
cool
therefore
zone.
We call it the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
The Cool Zone.
The Cool Zone.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can call this number. Go.
At the Buppies. Oh, you want me to give the number first?
You can do either way.
Okay. It's the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Number is 979?
Yeah.
693?
Yep. So
1150.
Yep.
Buppies Catering and Bartending.
By the way, Buppies Catering and Bartending.
They're catering and, well, maybe not bartending.
I don't think they're bringing alcohol today.
They bring some really good sweet tea, though.
Oh, bro, they bring it all. All right, call that number, text the number, whatever you want to do. Let's actually kind of only go to one room because no social center at the moment. One room. And that's where we find Nick Savage. Hey, Nick.
Good morning, y'all.
Hi.
Hey, so I know y'all already touched on it a little bit with the availability report, but I feel like we haven't talked enough about how fortunate A&M has been with injuries up to this point this year. Again, knock on wood, that was literally the next thing I was going to say. I pulled up last year's availability report going into this week, and A&M had 4 players out for the season and 2 guys questionable going into the game with Missouri, which is what lines up. So only 1 guy questionable at Scooby, and if Coach Elko thinks there's a chance he might return, that's good. Jared Kerr, the only guy out this week. So I feel like, again, A&M's been super fortunate up to this point. And to your point earlier, OB, that's got to happen if you want to have a really good season.
I don't know if A&M is, quote, fortunate, Nick, or I don't know if it's just the law of averages finally coming to A&M's
Let's
way.
hope, please, bro. and I'm going to say this, and it may come back and bite me, OB. I think this team, God, I hope we don't have to deal with this, is more capable withstanding certain injuries than they were a year ago. For instance, Le'Veon could not finish that game, and Ruben finish that game, right? Like,
Boy, he played great.
so, again, with the injury to Scooby had to play last year with his hurt knee, right? He had to all season long. I don't know if they could have withstood that last year, right? Like, so we're the depth, the development, and just so far the good fortune.
Well, Tariq Chappelle,
Another one. Yeah.
he was sorely missed last year. Was it not? Correct me if I'm wrong, but was it not the kid from Washington who transferred from Washington, number 8? I'm sorry, I'm blanking. I'm having a senior moment. Shaw.
Yeah.
Was he not the guy that punched the ball loose on the
Yes, he
fumble?
was. Yes, he was. Yes.
So,
yes, he was.
Tyreek was out for a little while. Shaw comes in, makes a play for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go to lunch.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today we're going to have Buppy's lunch.
Yeah,
and then maybe tomorrow or Saturday, especially a game day Saturday, right here. Oh, the tailgate here at TexAgs.
Yeah, if you want a 1775 barbecue, it's a great option for lunch or your tailgate any day. Unfortunately, it's only open Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. But so fortunately, today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, and then game day Saturday.
Right.
So it all works out.
So here at the TexAgs tailgate, which is going to be happening from 3:30 to 6 at TexAgs. I think it's 3:30 to 6. I hope that information is correct. It starts at 3:30. Just come. When you come, you can get $17.75. I got the brisket sandwich. Actually, no. My wife got the brisket sandwich.
It's huge.
It was this big, okay? And we cut it in half. I thought she was going to eat it later. She goes, well, I know you don't like the press box food. Sorry, Brad. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Hot dogs are not my thing. Why don't you take this? She said it with that voice. And I ate that, and I was full sitting next to you.
I was sitting there watching him eat it, too. I mean, it looked like he'd just gotten an order of brisket somewhere, and he brought it home. Right?
You had some pretty good food, too.
Oh, yeah, I did.
You did.
I did well.
But I saw your face when I pulled out that queso mac and cheese.
Oh, man. The queso mac and cheese.
Let's keep doing that. Keep going. Just the whole time. 1775txbbq.com. Call them up. 979-492-6241.
It's good.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
You know, I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer.
We're back here on the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. It is TexAgs Live. OB, you are a catalyst of ideas.
I try to be a catalyst for ideas.
I hope Chip Ravello's listening. Chip, this marketing genius that is Olin Buchanan, during the break, drinking his catalyst, goes, maybe we should do a catalyst of the week on the show.
Yeah, we can.
Ravello, have your people call my people.
We can either look forward and say who could be the catalyst, or we'll look back and say who was the catalyst. Either way, it's just 10 calories.
Look at that. Now smile at the camera when you do it.
Just 10 calories.
Why do you always look at the wrong camera?
It's a 10!
In a moment, we're going to do a catalyst of sorts with the Heisman watch. But I started thinking, I'm a marketing genius as well. Okay,
yeah.
Not as good as you, but I went upstairs and Bronny's preparing for the B team.
Okay,
and he's trying to think about what he should do for the show, like food bit. They do the food bit, and my idea I think is the best of them all.
I want to hear it.
I said you should have to finish the Buppy's Catering and Bartending leftovers.
Oh my!
And he's like, I'll die. There's always so much food.
They do. They bring in, it's like Thanksgiving. It's bountiful.
And I was like, between you and Richard, you don't think you can finish it? He's like, no, Richard's a little mouse.
I will. Speaking of little mouse.
We have one.
Yeah. We're calling him Le'Veon Mouse.
Yeah, there's a couple other names too.
Well,
Marcus Ratcliffe.
Oh, but he's not a rat.
Oh, yeah, no.
But yeah, I get it. All right, Ratcliffe.
All right, let's do the Heisman watch. Brought to you by the Shurtleff Law Firm. Hunter's a friend of our company, and we trust him with our legal needs. Call Shurtleff Law today when you need a lawyer for your business or your personal issues. He'll be here on the show in a little while. I love him. Let's do your Heisman watch. I want to start off at number 5.
Yeah, let me remind everybody that it changes week to week because
things change.
Things change. And so there's some definite changes. Some got new guys on, some guys off.
Number 5 on your list.
Number 5.
Part of my community.
Yeah, dropped him down one. Fernando Mendoza, the Indiana quarterback, he did not play last week. Thrown for 1,208 yards, 16 touchdowns with just 1 interception, rushed for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. Of course, a big part of his candidacy is that game against Illinois when I think he had 5 touchdowns.
Well, he's going to have an opportunity this week to even go up or fall out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, who's number 4 on the list? Is
Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback from Ole Miss, another guy whose team was idle last week. Of course, he began the season as a backup, but in the 3 games that he started, and they've been against Arkansas, Tulane, and LSU, he's passed for 974 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he's also rushed for 245 yards and 2 scores.
OB, I want more at number 3.
Well, I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you Dante Moore, the Oregon quarterback. I dropped him down a notch because why? Well, they were open last week and other guys played really well. He most recently led Oregon to that overtime victory over Penn State. He threw for 248 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. Overall, he's passed for 1,210 yards and 14 touchdowns for the Ducks.
Okay. And then number 2 is the name that a year ago we would not have been surprised, and then he fell out of the conversation. Mm-hmm. And this week, rising.
He's right back in all the way to number 2. You got to give tip of the cat is due to Carson Beck. He threw for 241 yards and 4 touchdowns in a huge victory over Florida State. He leads the nation's second-ranked team, and they've had 3 wins over currently ranked top 25 teams. So, he gets some credit for that. He's thrown for 1,213 yards and 11 touchdowns. He's not spectacular, but he sure is getting the job done.
Yeah. And then number 1 on the list is a guy that...
brand new.
Yeah, I didn't think of him this way up until this last week. I started thinking of him that way because I held against him the first game of the season too much, and he has done nothing but just win big games since then.
Yeah, look, here's the deal. I'm not an Alabama fan, but give credit where credit is due. Ty Simpson of Alabama, he got off to that mediocre start against Florida State, but since that opener, he's completed 76.5% of his passes for 1,224 yards and 11 touchdowns. Last week, he passed for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns in a big win over Vanderbilt. Now, typically, a big game against Vanderbilt doesn't give you a lot of cachet.
Right.
But I want to say this isn't your grandpa's Vanderbilt, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, your grandpa's day, Vanderbilt wasn't bad.
Yeah, 1938-ish, something like that.
Back when, Billy Wade was the first pick in the NFL draft, guys like that.
All right, that is your Heisman Watch, brought to you
Jess
by
Neely coaching
the Shirtliff Law Firm.
Hunter Shirtliff.
How many times do you think McGee would have shown up on this column of yours, this Heisman Watch, back in the day? Because it changes.
It changes. There might have been a time or two. I can't think of one, but there might have been a time or two.
I bet you there was a point in the season where he had a huge game. And you're like, yeah, he'd be on the list.
Well, if you would have had that performance he had against Texas when they upset them early in the year, yeah. But late in the year, the leaders were pretty much firmly established.
Fine. His good friend Ryan Swope should have been on it. All right, let's do this. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with our friend from Paragon Financial. That is Stephen McGee. Right now, though, it is time to talk about the Brazos Running Company located at Century Square. They're Aggie owned and operated. They're a specialty running store with the outstanding selection of shoes. Whatever shoes you're looking for, On, Brooks, Hoka, you name it, they got it there at really nice prices and a great selection and a staff that's going to help you find the right shoe for whatever your need is. Having the right shoes, huge for fitness, right? Whatever you're doing. If you're a walker, runner, fitness, whatever it may be, they'll take care of you. They have Yori there. They have Duck Camp outdoor apparel. They have Turtle Box speakers with the maroon accents and handles. They got the Stanley Cups. It is the Brazos Running Company located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. Hey guys, David Nuño here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites, while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com. And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Our good friend Stephen McGee's here in studio, and he's our QB1 and your financial QB at Paragon Financial Advisors, helping you call the right place for your financial future. What's up, buddy?
Good to see you back, man.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
I like that shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
Are there any maroon ATM shirts in town, you think? You think these things exist?
Yeah, I've got a couple even.
I like
Why aren't all the ATMs in town just painted maroon? So when you get your money, you have the maroon ATM?
Yeah.
Great idea. Good thinking, OB. And you also have a great shirt by our friends at Duck Camp.
Duck Camp. I like this shirt. First time I've ever worn it.
Yeah.
Today.
Looks good.
Yeah. Duck Camp sponsors our segment with Swope and McGee. Swope won't be here today, so shout out to Duck Camp.
So we'll, in place of Swope, not being here, Olin Buchanan will be here wearing his
I think
Duck
that
Camp
shirt was made for you.
I think it was.
It's a good fit, good look.
Good look, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, he's wearing a lot of green this week, though. That I've noticed.
I've worn a lot of Duck Camp this week.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
have. Yeah, because you're built for the outdoors.
I'm like a mallard.
And designed for everything.
A green duck.
Would you ever consider going on a duck hunt? Get up early in the morning, rain, cold?
Yeah, I get up early in the morning anyway.
Yeah.
He wakes up at 2:30 or 3:30, literally.
Perfect. So
I don't even want
you're
to.
a
but I
natural
do.
duck hunter.
Yeah.
Would you go?
I'd go. I probably wouldn't. I haven't shot a gun. I couldn't tell you how long. Probably since I was like in my teens.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't hit a duck.
Well, you could be like
I could be
Elmer Fudd.
I could be like the dog that goes and chases down and bring it back in my mouth.
Hey, I'll even go duck hunting if you do that. That's impressive. That's cool.
That's the next bet.
That's the next bet. Is bird dog.
$3,500. I'll go get the dead duck and bring it back in my mouth.
Are you serious?
In the cold water, like 30
For
degrees
$3,500?
Ice on the water.
Do I get $3,500?
I don't know.
I mean, you better.
TexAgs, can we get some help?
I got a kid in college.
What sponsor wants to step up?
We need a place to hunt.
Yeah.
We need someone to set it all up.
So, okay. Bird Dog, hook us up. Duck Camp, hook us up. We got to go to all of our friends.
I got a kid in college. I need to make money.
Buddy, that's why I ate cake, all right? Let's be honest.
One of the all-time great video games, Duck Hunter, as a kid.
Duck Hunt? Oh, that was the best.
And you put the gun right up on the screen.
Nintendo?
And try to cheat.
Yeah, it was the best.
It's a great game. The dog would laugh at you, which that 100% would be you.
OB was in college at the time.
Yeah. You're probably crushing that
Seeing
game.
as though I never went to college, that's a no, but okay.
College life.
Yeah, college
age. All right, let's, Marcel, tell a two halves for him against Mississippi State. What did you see him struggling with, and how did he adjust?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, the kid just keeps finding ways to win. So let's not dog on Marcel's play. I mean, he just every week is putting together the plays that he needs to have to play winning football. So hats off for that. I mean, obviously, I think to beat really good football teams that are on the schedule, that are going on the road to Missouri is going to be a tough game. I think you have to have more consistent performances both offensively and defensively. Notre Dame is the tale of two tales. Offense really thrived and defense kind of struggled. And then here we are. Defense has just been unbelievable the last 2 weeks. It's ridiculous, the stats they've been putting up. Shutout performances, basically. And offense has been very productive. Just maybe didn't have the points you want. Just a couple little setbacks, obviously penalties. But Marcel, personally, I think he's got to just figure out, speed up the clock with his feet, right? Hold on the ball. A lot of these throws he's making, 3-4 hitches into the progression. On normal timing, it would be one hitch, right? So he's just a little bit late, just being decisive. But on a lot of these good plays, like the one we're seeing right now on the screen, this touchdown, a little 88 F wheel, the play that we threw to Kirkacher against Notre Dame on the wheel route. He hit number one on the post. Ball was out quick, on time, and accurate, right? And here's another one. Ball was out quick, on time, and accurate, right? So for me, it's the feet. I can tell a quarterback knows what he's seeing. He trusts his eyes when the ball comes out quickly and confidently.
Let me jump in there real quick, OB, because I think the most impressive thing I've seen from him in his career at A&M is that the game does slow down at the end.
It's unbelievable.
Right? I mean, you look at the Auburn game, the USC game, the LSU game, Auburn this year game, Mississippi State, Notre Dame, obviously, he is really good at the end of games.
He is. There's something to be said for that. That cool, calm, collected guy that just wins game in the fourth quarter. I mean, what a great quality to have as your quarterback, right? Let's have a guy that can lead us down there and get it done when it matters, nut crunching time. And he's been phenomenal at that. I would argue there's no one in college football right now that's had more of it. I mean, he's just put together a lot of game-winning drives. Even if, we didn't end up winning the game like we've talked about in the past, like last year, he did his part, certainly.
He did.
What I worry about Marcel is, look, he knows that he's had the overthrows on the deep ball. He hears people complain, oh, if they just get the – and now I wonder if he isn't susceptible to trying to force that deep ball to try to prove something and maybe not take a shot at the wrong time.
Right. Yeah. Being aggressive with your shots, right? Knowing when the opportunity is there to throw the post route, right? You love post routes versus quarters coverage, not as great versus single high zone, right? But to your point, it's, hey, I want to be aggressive when the opportunities present themselves. And to OB's point, those deep throws, what's one thing he can do a little bit better? Well, put a little more air on those balls, right? So it's a little more forgiving. It doesn't have to be perfect ball placement. When the ball's flat, it's got to be perfect. The margin of error is very, very, very small. And so how do you do that? Speed up your feet. You get the ball up quicker, right? Because these guys are getting downfield quickly, and if you're 2-3 hitches into your drop, all of a sudden now for you to get the ball to them, it's got to be very flat.
Right.
Or if you put air on it, they're going to just be way downfield, right? Very few guys can make that throw.
But what I'm saying is I hope he can find that understanding of when to take the shot and when not to. And like, hey, if I throw it 40 yards downfield for 40-yard completion, that's great. But if I throw it 10 yards downfield and my fast, crazy, elusive receivers turn it into a 40-yard gain, what's the difference?
Amen. Exactly right. And there were those plays. That's a great point. Last week against Mississippi State, I think aggressively take what the defense gives you doesn't always mean throw the corner route because we call it scissors, right? 78 concept. Like, we love to throw the 7 route. We're going to throw the 7 route probably, 60% of the time. But guess what? 30% of the time, we're going to hit the guy in the flat. And last week, they double covered, corner dropped out soft. We had 2 guys in the same area. They shouldn't have been. They were. The picture was muddy. The defense was really soft. Who was wide open? The flat route, right? And so that's the progression of a young quarterback. It's saying, hey, like, I really want to run and throw that 78 concept. I want to hit that corner. Hitting it all week in practice. We got the perfect look. And all of a sudden today, it's not. And guess what? You got to react on time and get the ball to the flat. That's what the really great ones do, like the Tom Brady's. That's a play. If he would have hit the guy in the flat, everyone would be like, oh, yeah, it was just like another play, right? But that's the difference, right?
Right.
It's the unsexy plays that great quarterbacks make consistently. And I think that's a good step for him to take. And if he does, watch out, because this offense would be, in my opinion, unstoppable.
I hate to bring up bad memories, but I was up in Norman, Oklahoma one time watching A&M lose 77-0. You might have been there. Can't remember. But Jason White, that day and that season, won a Heisman Trophy by just dumping the ball off to his really fast receivers.
What was that running back's name? Quentin Johnson?
Quentin Griffin?
Quentin Griffin.
Yeah.
Dude could play. It's like a little Barry Sanders almost, like a little small,
little
guy.
I remember they had the receivers, I want to say Mark Bradley and Michael Clayton, maybe, or Mark Clayton.
Mark Clayton, yeah.
And
Mark Clayton was unreal,
and
too.
one of them maybe been Bradley. And those guys would take a short, medium pass and turn it into a big game. Yeah. So I think it's just, David was saying that last night. Elko said that they're just this close to unlocking the offense really go. And I think I'm guessing that what Elko's saying is maybe what you just talked about with Marcel getting a better understanding of when to take that shot and when to, hey, take the check down and let that become a big play.
Absolutely. And it's that probably for a coordinator and a coach, I can only imagine it's this frustrating progression of a young quarterback. It's like, we are so close, and it is there, and you would think, man, it should be so easy. The lights come on, there's pressure, there's guys, you want to get the ball to your playmakers, and sometimes it's just,
guys are chasing you.
Guys are chasing you. Big guys, too, by the way, fast guys, like alligators in a duck blind, OB. By the way, if we went duck hunting with OB, would there be alligators in the pond? Is that a part of it?
That should be part of the game.
That should be a part of the game.
I don't want them to die, though. So
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
But I think there should be a fast swim back.
There could be snakes. How about that? Like, because there's always snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but if it's cold, they're probably not going to be out.
Some up here at TexAgs.
Do alligators thrive in cold weather? They don't, but they have to be in the water.
Yeah.
So they're there.
They're there.
But they're probably not very aggressive.
You know what? Now I think about it, I don't think it's a good idea to risk his life.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't like those.
I mean, I risked my life for this company, though, with the cake eating.
$3,500?
Would you go streaking in Northgate for $3,500?
Probably
Will Ferrell?
not.
Okay,
Will Ferrell style?
But we'll pay whatever it costs to get you out of jail.
Streaking is probably where I have to.
We're going down to the quads up to the gymnasium.
In a Speedo.
Okay, yes, in a Speedo, I absolutely would.
Frank the Tank. Can we pick that Speedo? Can it be like American bald eagle Speedo, like MAGA or not MAGA? Sorry,
You guys are demented.
we're just stupid. But it is a scene, man. Can you imagine like kids are out of North Carolina? Here comes OB. We're going streaking.
Looking
going down the quad.
I know that guy.
Looking like an egg, like its body like an egg of mine.
He's friends with my grandfather. Let's hit a break. We'll come back with a little buy, sell, hold. It's TexAgs Live. All right, guys, let's talk about some new partners, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. They are an mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. I met with Sheldon and Danny over the last week, and they're awesome people. They really know what they're doing. They're proud to serve Bryan College Station with awesome services like IV hydration, Botox, and even some weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. And on a busy weekend, I know some of you guys might be partying a little bit too much. If that's the case, an IV can be one of the easiest ways to ensure you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals that make you feel better. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader range of clientele here in the Bryan College Station and Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about it, just call them up or text them. 979-217-1561. Again, it's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. It's our friends at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for a little buy, sell, hold, brought to you by Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. If you want financial guidance that truly puts you first, visit paragon-adv.com. More likely scenario, all right? Buy, sell, hold. Cassius Howell, 2+ sacks against Florida.
Oh.
A&M rushes for over 200, by the way, against Auburn, 207, against Mississippi State, 303. Okay? Or A&M scores over 25 points. This year, Florida against South Florida scored 18 in a win. LSU scored 20 in a win for LSU, I should say. And They gave up 26 points to Miami, 21 to Texas.
Boy, that's a good one. I thought we were going to go buy, streaking, hold, bird dogging, and sell. Do we have a third option? Yeah, bird dog. What was the third option we had?
I don't know.
I'd find something. But since we're not, Florida's got a pretty good defense. I think underrated defense. And I wanted to say I would buy the points, 25 points.
You think they'll score more than 25?
Yes, and I feel confident. 200 yards rushing is an impressive stat. And I feel good about that. So I'll hold their ability to run the football. They've done it consistently. When you throw in Marcel Reed's ability to do it, I think it's even more likely. Cassius Howell and the sacks, that is incredibly difficult. 2 sacks in a game just doesn't happen often.
He's got 2 hat tricks on the year, though.
Even though he did 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So the guy can do it, but you got to pick something.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you. I think the thing that's most that I'd buy is
25
scoring
plus.
25. Look, this A&M offense is not good because it plays, quote, bad defense. It's good because it's a good defense. I mean, a good offense. I believe, and I've said this, I believe that the Florida defense is very comparable to Auburn's, and A&M should have scored 30-something against Auburn.
Agreed.
So I'll say that. I will sell the 200. What would we say? 200? Yeah, I think 150 yards rushing would be really good in this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll hold
Cassius?
Cassius. And I'll say this. I'll hold him, but Florida better.
They better throw the flag for us this time.
Heck yeah, but they better hold him or he's going to get 3 sacks again.
Either way. All right, we have about 40 seconds, Stephen. We didn't really talk Lagway. What kind of quarterback? I mean, what we've seen now, all the highlights of him this year, what have you seen?
When he's good, he's good. When he's bad, he's bad.
Yeah.
And I think the key for any quarterback struggle, if we're A&M, we're trying to get after him, is pressure. And Mike Elko does that better than anybody. He has really creative pressures. I think we're going to get home, get around his feet, make him uncomfortable. He's been a little banged up. I think all those things play into our factor. Being at home, loud crowd, he's still a young player, very talented, can make all the throws. Don't want him to get hot. Don't want 6 to get in the game. Get after the quarterback.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Thank you, OB. And thank you to CC Creations for the Go Hour, and of course to all of our great guests this hour, Stephen McGee and Olin Buchanan. That was an awkward ending. We'll come back with JD PicKell next on TexAgs Live. All right, we are back. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. By the way, this segment is brought to you by Duck Camp. Whether you're gearing up for a hunt or a fishing trip or just trying to survive September in College Station, Duck Camp has got you covered. Check it out at duckcamp.com. Built for the outdoors and designed for everything else. So this guy, I've been trying to get him on the show, but he's so freaking busy, like every time. And then I go out of town and I can't talk to him. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our friend, JD PicKell. JD, what up, buddy? Oh, fail. We don't hear you. Let's see if we can get him back, Nick. For some reason, we lost JD PicKell. We'll get him on here in a moment. As I was saying, he is my guy. And he was very high on A&M in July. He's still very high on A&M. He's smiling because he knows what I'm saying is correct. He can see me talking. He just can't talk back to me for some reason. So if we have to, we'll get him on the phone too. But hopefully we'll get this figured out here in a minute. But he's been very high on A&M, and I want to get his why he felt that way before the season. Because I know why we Aggies felt that. Like, we see Coach Elko all the time. We just see the little differences. To me, a championship team isn't about the big differences. A championship team is about the micro differences, the little things. One of the things that McGee brought up in the last segment was, like the ability for Marcel to make that easy throw in the middle of chaos that may not result in this huge play, but it results in moving the chains, and it results in not a turnover and putting your team in a compromising position. The little things, the showing up early to meetings, the little things to me make all the difference in the world. And that's why I believe it's different this year. And last year he started laying the foundation. But last year was a fragile roster, right? A fragile situation. And you have questions at quarterback all season long. You had an injury to your most important offensive player last year. You were trying to figure things out. You had a really hard schedule at the end of the year. So all those things at the same time are part of the reason that A&M struggled. And it just feels different. And we'll get JD's thoughts here in a moment. While we're waiting for it, Matt in College Station says, healthiest team I can remember in a lot of ways. And I think when he says that, it's not just like the physical part, right? Like, just mentally, they're not a fragile team. If we would have gone back a year ago, and we have video evidence of what the show was like a year ago, but we were very concerned about the tackling. We were very concerned about the big plays. We were concerned about the quarterback position. We were, right? We didn't know. We knew that Connor was not fully healthy, and he did have the Missouri game that got us back up, but then he had the Mississippi State game, and you're like, I'm not sure. And then obviously later on with the way the LSU game went. So we had a lot more questions about it. This year, I think less questions and more depth, and guys performing at a higher level. Nick Scorton had some really good games early on last year. I don't know if anybody last year was performing the way Cassius Howell is performing this year. I don't know if, outside of Marcel Reed, if a backup came in thrust into a starting lineup position the way Damian Sanford has and performed that. The depth has been better. The ability to fix your mistakes in games has been better. So there's a lot of good reasons. Other texts that are coming in. We've got one calling it now, stack the box against Ball and drop Cassius Howell. All right, let's go to the Buppy's Catering Bartending Hotline. We do have our friend JD PicKell from On3. Hey, buddy, this time, are you there?
David, against all odds, man. The universe tried to keep us apart. Technology tried to keep us apart. But here we are, and it feels right. It feels like this is our moment, man. I'm glad to be on with you.
Well, I'm happy to have you on the show. As I was tap dancing, I was trying to kind of present the why you were high on A&M in July and why you might be a little bit higher now. So I'll give you the floor. Why were you so high on A&M then, and where are you now with them?
Well, it's funny. I remember you and I speaking at Media Days, not this past year, but the year before when they had it in Dallas. And we're talking about the Elko hire, and we're talking about, what his prospects are at A&M to have early success. And I remember you and I talking about this idea of building a culture. And it sounds cliche because everyone in college football loves to talk about culture when you have a jump from one year to the next. But that was kind of the excitement with Elko when he got hired for UNI was, hey, he brings these things, just what you spoke to a moment ago on the show when we were getting me on the air, is the little things that end up making a big difference. Like the best example I can think of that I've seen firsthand is Matt Rule and his time at Baylor. Gets there his first year, the place is a train wreck. Second year, you make a bowl game. Third year, that typical vintage Matt Rule year 3 kind of success they have at Baylor, that was, a product of getting some of his guys in there and development and all those things. That's true. But, I mean, from being a part of that team, David, like if you were late to a meeting, it was the end of it, man. Like if you had the wrong socks on at a workout, you were out of the workout. If you had the wrong T-shirt on in the meeting, it was so detailed. And I don't know if that's exactly how things are run around College Station, but my gut is it's probably closer to that than what it was before. And so all that paired with the multiple ways they can win games now with the personnel they have, having a guy like Craver, having a guy like Concepcion, Marcel Reed taking his stride, the backfield being what it is. Like, I think it's the culture plus the fact that you could put A&M into any style of game, and I feel pretty good about them being able to win that style of game. So there's a lot there, but those two things to me are the things that I think we're seeing right now in the month of October for A&M, which is why I think you should feel better about them down the stretch than maybe other years before.
Even though I feel better about them, I have so much respect for not only all the teams in the SEC, but this Florida team. And I think I would have had similar respect for them had they lost to Texas, just because I respect the talent that they have there and what their defense is doing. Concerned is maybe not overly concerned, but I'm watching this game and I'm like, this is a game that if you have some of those early mistakes and Florida's able to capitalize, it may not be as easy to flip the script. How do you see this game playing out, JD?
I 100% agree with you, one, when it comes to the overall talent level. Like, there's a reason a lot of us had Florida on that, like, playoff bubble before the year was because they were so talented and brought so much back. I like A&M a lot more in this spot after Florida beating Texas than if Florida had played Texas close and Texas ekes out an ugly one in the swamp. Because now I think for A&M, you don't have to squint to see Florida being a problem when you're prepping for them during the week. Like Mike Elko and Colin Klein don't have to, convince their team, hey, this is a good football team now. Hey, look at the line of scrimmage. They can beat you if you don't bring your best. So I think that paired with the tests we've seen A&M pass already to this point in the year, being able to handle success after a bye week with a win over Notre Dame, win call a spade here, a somewhat ugly game against Auburn at home, and then to have an ugly first half in the Mississippi State game and then finish strong. So to me, I think this is going to be a lot more A&M run the football by displacement rather than domination. I think you'll see a lot of what you saw against Mississippi State with Craver on the perimeter with the jet sweep stuff. I think you'll see a lot of the misdirection and then back the other way with Ruben Owens and Moss. So I think that this is kind of going to be a slow burn sort of game for A&M. I think it'll be a game that A&M more or less controls, but it won't all the way feel that way on the scoreboard. But we'll get to the fourth quarter, and I do think the traits and the physicality of A&M ends up being a difference. And the biggest thing here, too, is I think the explosives for A&M end up being a big difference. I think you'll see a dagger of sorts from a Craver, Concepcion. Maybe it's a Bussy game. I don't know, but I think those guys will have their say on this thing in the fourth quarter after A&M has been pounding the rock for the better part of three quarters.
JD, it's too early in his career to know exactly, but when you look at DJ Lagway, how different of a quarterback is he at home versus on the road?
That's a great question. My lean is, I don't even know if it's so much about road versus home, and this is not to cop out of your question, but having Dallas Wilson in the lineup, whether you're on the neutral side, home, away, I think that was honestly the biggest difference that we saw from him. But to answer your question more directly, I do think there's something to the psyche of a young quarterback, when it comes to playing in tough road environments and having that home environment at your back. So I think that as he progresses, and I think we see this a lot of quarterbacks, as they progress, the home and away part of it starts to matter less and less, and it's a lot more about, hey, can your weapons handle it? Like Carson Beck's a great example. When they went to Tallahassee last weekend, I wasn't asking the question, is Carson Beck going to be able to handle this environment? It was more so, hey, what's a true freshman like Malachi Toney going to be feeling when he trots out there and they got the war chant going? And he got 100,000 people screaming against him for the first time in his career. So I think with Lagway, he is obviously a better quarterback at home, but some of that I'm not so sure is due to just having a Dallas Wilson in the lineup and being able to just be more comfortable overall with that setting in general.
JD, I have our interns in the back sometimes come up with segment ideas. I like this one. I'll just throw it at you. Coaches that have disappointed in 2025. I can throw you some names and tell me how you feel about the job that they're doing so far. We'll start off with an easy one, James Franklin.
Yeah, I mean, we could name this whole segment James Franklin. Holy smokes. The thing that's most alarming to me, David, about where Penn State's at right now is Penn State has always had allergies. It's been seasonal every year, top 10 team around this time. You play them, and it's like, hey, is this the year for Penn State? Nope, they got the sniffles. Oh, well, we don't fault them too much. They're not sick, but, it's a top 10 team. It's James Franklin. It's Penn State. But we have never, at least in recent history, said anything about, well, hey, Penn State should not have lost that game against that team. Hey, Penn State, they usually show up for games or at least play how they're supposed to play in games against teams of lesser caliber, lesser opponents. And so for them to trot out there and not just lose to a team they should have beaten, but lose to a team that hadn't won a game yet, playing teams like UNLV and UCLA, that to me makes me think, hey, maybe it's not just allergies. Maybe there's a real illness here. Because the thing that also is paired with that is after you lose to Oregon in that setting with the whiteout behind you and all the buildup of that's supposed to be your moment if you're James Franklin on that team, I would hope that week of practice following is the most urgent, is the most dialed in. We see them do what Ohio State did last year where they flipped the switch post-Oregon loss, and we saw the exact opposite. So I'm questioning what's happening during the week after that loss. What are the conversations like in the team room? What's going on during workouts as we get ready for that game? So all those things, that's what raises the eyebrows to me. Penn State could definitely still go out and beat Ohio State, beat Indiana, and make it to the college football playoff, but I'm curious if they're not more sick than allergic to these top 10 teams they're playing and this season in general with what Penn State is.
All right, another one for you, Sark.
I don't think it's a Sark thing so much as it is a underestimation or overestimation rather of what that roster is. My big thing going into the year was, hey, I trust Sark. I trust the pieces around Arch Manning. So for that reason, Arch Manning doesn't have to be all that great for Texas to get to where they want to go, which is Atlanta and beyond for the Longhorns this year. If there's any fault for Sark when it comes to disappointment, I think you could point to just what I said before, maybe thinking you have more in that wide receiver room than you had before. I mean, how different does that look when it comes to these guys not separating? Maybe miscalculating what you had in the offensive line, because a lot of those guys had played football and you felt good about them as a unit coming into the year. Like, my thing is, Sark didn't go to the portal to add any big pieces at either of those position groups. And so far this year, those position groups have been what you would hope would elevate an Arch Manning, and that hasn't been the case. So it's kind of been a collection of errors. I don't have any reservations about Sark as a head coach in the context of this year, but maybe going into this year, you'd have liked to see something done to maybe negate the deficiencies you've seen to this point with both those groups on the offensive line and wide receiver.
Talking to JD PicKell here on TexAgs Live. He's on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Probably the most disappointing is a first-year college coach, but a legendary coach, Bill Belichick.
I mean, I don't know what camp you were in on this, David, but I saw this hire, and I never thought this was going to work. I could be talked into it working. I could talk myself into rooting for it working. But my big thing was always just the disconnect between him and players at this level. Like, it's been pretty well documented from guys like Tom Brady, the toughest competitor of all time, arguably. Even he is like, hey, me as Tom Brady, Bill Belichick kind of sucks to play for. like we won a lot of games, sure, but like he was not someone that the team necessarily like rallied around and played for, and he pulled the best out of. Like, it was a professional setting, and us as
I think we lost JD PicKell. Not sure what happened. That's the kind of show that it's been. JD PicKell no longer on the show. Hopefully we get him back here to finish up that interview. We'll see if the folks at Bryan Broadcasting can dial him up real quick. Or maybe the phone lines are dead, and this is just the new reality that we're in. This is the world that we're in, Nick.
I can actually talk to you through this, though, because
they're calling them. I see them calling them.
Yeah, that's all right. JD rocks, though.
JD is good. We appreciate his thought. And we were finishing up on Belichick, who...
I agree with him, though. It's like when that all came out, it's just like, is that really going to work? Is Belichick really going to be all in on that, on the job at hand? And it never struck me that he would, be all in, Super Bowl caliber level coach that he was with the Patriots.
Nick, you've done a lot of shows with me, so some of these talking points that I've given out before can be applied to several people. And during the Jimbo era, I said this a lot, and I'm starting to think it about the Dabo era, and I certainly think it about Bill Belichick. When you lose your fastball, you don't get it back.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? You just don't, guys. And there was something about Bill Belichick at the end of his Patriots run, and I know he lost Tom Brady, but it just didn't. There's evolutions, right? Like things change, and he was not able to be the same coach. His influence was not the same. His attention to detail may have been the same, but the way people look, there's a reason that there are eras in coaching. I don't know if Lane Kiffin would have worked 30 years ago, right? But he has evolved with the game, and your message has to evolve, your offense has to evolve, your defense has to evolve, and also where you are. I'm going to use music and tell me if you can. And I don't want to use one of my musicians. I want you to think of somebody, okay? Because my musicians, but there's one that there's even a song about. I miss the old version of this guy. He has a song.
Yeah,
okay?
for sure. I think we got JD back, by the way.
Oh, we do? Okay, cool. Hey, JD, so I was just saying a moment ago, like, I believe when you lose your fastball, you lose it. You don't get it back. And like with musicians, like Kanye, for instance, isn't the same guy that he was 20 years ago. And you don't necessarily get it back when you have all the cars and all the luxury. Bill Belichick, I'm not saying that's what happened to him, but he lost it. He lost his messaging. He lost his authority. He lost his impact in a locker room. And I don't think you get it back when you lose it. I know there are cases where people have, but it's very rare in my opinion. All right, last thing for you. Texas OU. We talked about Sark. Let's talk about Venables, who's kind of turned things around. Like, the defense is awesome. He got the right guy for his quarterback in John Mateer, and Arbuckle's doing a great job. We'll see if Mateer plays this weekend. How does this game play out, JD?
Can we spotlight TexAgs for a second for potentially breaking some news on John Mateer's playing status? I mean, I'm sure you probably clocked all this, but the post that came from, I believe it was the tortilla presser at Chipotle's father, saying that John Mateer, and stop, cut me off, David, if I'm just being redundant here, but the post that said, hey, my son works at Chipotle in Norman. He said John Mateer told him he's playing this weekend. A selfie gets out of that. Like, TexAgs potentially now breaking some news on that this weekend. I digress. I think that Texas needs this one. I think Texas needs this one. I think that Arch, potentially now all the things said about him throughout the course of this year. I wonder if maybe that Florida game doesn't burst the pressure bubble for him a little bit. Because if it is truly upstairs for my guy, after the Ohio State loss, okay, everyone's talking bad about you, but you got a couple of weeks to get right. After that Florida loss, I think a lot of people have since sold their Arch Manning stock, and they're very much so in the right to do so. But I wonder if that lack of pressure, hopefully internally for Arch, can allow him to play a little bit more free. I think Texas in desperation mode wins this game. But if John Mateer plays, which is my massive caveat, John Mateer plays, I'll take Oklahoma, but I can't predict that right now, so I'll take Texas.
JD, you're the best, buddy. Thanks so much for your time.
Appreciate y'all battling with me, man. Appreciate y'all. Have a great Saturday.
Thank you, brother. Great job. JD PicKell there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. When we come back on TexAgs Live, Aaron Torres under a freeway. That's a fact. I don't make that rule up. He just does it. He finds a freeway to talk to us with the homeless folks in Los Angeles. That's what he does. And we can do a documentary about Aaron Torres, JD PicKell. We can do a documentary about everybody, guys, because my buddy Chance McClain does documentaries for people, for families, for family businesses, and for family ranches. That's what Heritage Films does. If you haven't thought about doing one, all of us have a story. Everyone listening to this show has a story. And that story, folks, needs to be told to the next generation and the generation after that. I highly, highly recommend a Heritage film for every family out there. Do it for your grandfather. Do it for your mother. Do it for your uncle. Do it for your boss, your family business, your family ranch. We're talking about a 2-hour documentary that Chance does with this team. And I guarantee it's going to be therapeutic. It's going to be fun. And the impact of it won't be really felt. It'll be felt in the moment, but you'll really feel it in 10 years, in 20 years. Your kids are going to feel it. And then their kids are going to feel it. The website is yourheritagefilm.com. Yourheritagefilm.com. 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas Maroon and Gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, "Hey, Dad, you look pretty good today." From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family. All right, we're back. Around College Football, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, and wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve community with a Conservancy membership. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. And remember, Pumpkin Palooza coming up next week. We go to the Bumpy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our friend Aaron Torres online. And, of course, you can find his great work at Fox Sports Radio. AT, what up?
David Nuño, what's up, buddy?
How are you?
Doing well on my end. Aggies are doing well. How are you?
Buddy, I believe it or not, I think I'm a better host when the Aggies win. It's amazing how that works. I'm not saying I'm a good host, but I'm definitely a better host when the Aggies win. What are you seeing from them that stands out?
You know what I'm really seeing is a team. Listen, this is going to sound like the most cliche thing ever. But, obviously take out the Notre Dame game, winning the games that they're supposed to, just going out and handling business. And, obviously, try to pay attention to what Coach Elko says every week on the conference calls and everything. And, it's obvious that he feels like there's work to be done. I mean, I know the offense put up 40-plus points in South Bend, but I don't think it's necessarily clicking on all cylinders, but just playing just solid across the board football. I'll be quick on this, but you look across the rest of the SEC and it's like I see teams with big gaping holes. Texas's offense and Arch Manning, Tennessee's defense, Georgia, I think has actually been inconsistent. Feels like, and this is something we couldn't have said 3-4 years ago. Feels like A&M might just be the most consistent, show up every week, take care of business kind of team that there is in this league. And I do think, if nothing else, that is a great thing for your football team. Again, areas to improve, but when you kind of get the same team every single week, that's a good sign that they're veteran, they're taking care of business, and they're doing what they're supposed to do, which is something they obviously are sitting at 5-0 at this point in the season.
Yeah, I love the way they play football because they can beat you in multiple ways. I think their defense is not only starting, they've done it a couple weeks in a row, starting to play like what we expected a Coach Elko defense to look like, right? Like that's when you hired him, over a year ago, you thought like this is what the future is going to look like, and it's starting to be that, Aaron.
And it's happening pretty quick, and I know this is the portal world and this and that, but it's like, again, it's just, I look at just the consistency of this team. And even as I was kind of thinking and you were talking, it's like, look at LSU, look at, Alabama just had a total dud to open the season. Now, they've been much better, but I just, again, I don't think it's hyperbole to say, yes, you're seeing what you want. You're seeing toughness. You're running the football. To your point, the defense is getting better. But again, in this world of college football where there's so much uncertainty, there's so much turnover, rosters are changing, this and that, consistency is a word that it feels like we're getting less and less of from different teams across the country. And as I said, so far, I think A&M has been the most consistent. I'll be quick, but, the second straight home game last week against the team that you should beat, that's a spot where a lot of teams come out flat. They don't play great. Again, there's stuff to work on, but whatever it was, 31-9, the final score, just really impressive that you're just taking care of business and taking care of the teams that you're supposed to.
Let's talk a little bit about Texas OU. And I know that I think you tweeted this. Tell me if I'm right. You tweeted something about Coach Sark hinting that maybe South Florida has passed them as a program.
No. That was sarcasm. I do think that Sark, listen, I went back and actually listened to most of that press conference. I thought some of his quotes were blown out of proportion. What I did not tweet, and I wish I had, because I truly mean it, I think the Oklahoma defense is so good. I said the day John Mateer, there was the announcement that he had surgery, I said, I actually, because people were, oh my God, what does it mean for their season? And I'm like, well, first of all, they have a bye and they play Kent State. I said, I think they can beat Texas even without John Mateer. And part of it is because that defense, I think they have the best defense in college football. And then two, I think that the Texas offense is a real mess right now. And I thought, again, talking about that Sark press conference on Monday, I think there were certain quotes that got blown out of proportion, but I think the sentiment that I got is he's searching for answers. And as easy as it is to use Arch as a scapegoat, they're not blocking very well. The defense certainly didn't look like we expected it to in the preseason. That's a team with a lot of problems. Now, it only takes one game to get right and to feel good again, but I don't know that you fix problems offensively against Oklahoma. I think it could get ugly this week for Texas, even if John Mateer isn't on the field for Oklahoma.
Talking to Aaron Torres, Alabama, man, everybody was ready to fire Kalen DeBoer. Now they're ready to give Ty Simpson the Heisman. I think they're for real. They still got a tough stretch ahead of them. What happens this weekend against Missouri?
Certainly a tough game. But what I would say about Alabama is I am one that is personally done doubting them. And it doesn't mean they'll never lose a game, from now until the end of time. But I think, after that Florida State loss where they spent all offseason telling us that this year is going to be different, I said, you got to prove it to me. So they beat UL Monroe, and I say, okay, that's great. I don't really care about a win over UL Monroe. Then they beat Wisconsin, and I say, well, that's great, but Wisconsin kind of stinks. Prove it to me on the road. Then they go to Georgia, and they do it on the road. Then Vandy feels like it could, in theory, be a letdown game after the Georgia win. Prove it to me. They beat Vandy. And so maybe this is the week that I feel like they're done proving it to me, so they go out and lay an egg against Missouri. But I think, one, it feels like what I think, David, more than anything, they finally have leadership from within the locker room. The way the guys talk about Ty Simpson and how he carries himself and how he kind of elevates everybody else around him. And then, two, I do think maybe the Florida State game ended up being the wake-up call that they needed. So, again, Missouri's good. Missouri themselves have a lot to prove. But I also just think that this Alabama thing is definitely trending in the right direction.
Hey, because I'm a man of the people, I'm going to read this to you from Dave and Edmond. So he wants me to tell you this. Tell AT that OU's defense gave up 287 yards to Auburn at home with the tri-refs calling everything in their favor. We held them to 177, and the refs screwed us at every turn. He said it with that tone, by the way. Just wanted to share that with you.
Ooh, David Edmond coming in hot. It's 7:33 local time where I am, and it feels like fall in the air. I wasn't ready for that heat. I got to be careful. Before I put my hand on the stove, I got to be careful. Make sure David Edmonds not around because he's going to turn that thing up all the way. So, what I would do, David, I will send you a tweet from OU's comms department. OU basically is first or second in the country in every defensive category: total defense, scoring defense, run defense, pass defense, third down defense. Congrats that Auburn had 2 good drives against you and 0 good drives against A&M. I don't know. I'm sorry. Let me put it this way. I'll let the stats speak for themselves, and that's a pretty good defense right there. And then we'll find out this weekend when they play Texas. We'll figure it out for ourselves.
Way late for a break, but I got to ask you, Nico, he figured it out, didn't he? Or at least for 1 week.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Credit where it's due, man. I've been one that's critical of the decision, of the process to get to that decision. That was the best game I've seen any quarterback play all year long. 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. And I think more than anything, there was a couple big plays where they just needed him to put down his shoulder and pick up an extra yard. And I think this was a guy who kind of had a reputation as being a little quote-unquote soft. Best performance I've seen. They're still 1-4. The schedule is still tough. I don't think history is going to prove that he somehow made the right decision going to UCLA. But in a way, I was happy. I thought he deserved that moment after everything people have said about him over the last 6 to 8 months.
Thank you, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Take care. We'll talk next week. Go ahead.
AT, Aaron Torres on the Buffy's Catering Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Jim Turner next on TexAgs Live. I don't know why I said that like Schwarzenegger. I don't know. Moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're looking for a selection that won't break the bank, if you're looking for a wide selection, if you're looking for all the vehicles at a good cost and great customer service, Caldwell Country Chevrolet is the place to go. Their inventory is growing daily. And the real deal here is that they're south of those big city prices, no dealer add-ons. What you see is what you pay. And they're locally owned. They've got an Aggie alumni team ready to roll out the red carpet for you. And when you go there, you're going to feel like you are a part of the family because that's what they want to do. The pre-owned inventory is moving fast, which means they pay top dollar for your trade-in. What you need to do is don't wait. Go there and take advantage of all the savings and the great customer service. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan, to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks is good to be right. All right, friends, School's in Session with Jim Turner, brought to you by Paragon Financial Advisors. Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. If you want financial guidance that truly puts you first, visit paragon-adv.com. Coach Turner, great to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
All right, so I have a reputation, okay?
Yeah.
I worry about games. Sometimes I worry about games that people are like, why are you worried about Mississippi State? Why are you worried? Okay, so I don't want to, be too worried, but worry's not the right word.
I'm concerned with the level of talent that Florida has and their ability when they play an A game to come to Kyle Field and cause some chaos.
Yeah.
How do you see this Florida team?
I think they're a really good football team. I think they'll be the best team that the Aggies have seen to this point.
Better than Notre Dame?
Yeah, I think they're better than Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame's great. I think they got a good team, but they're not great. I think, and the other thing is, right, you can have a great team or not so great team, whatever. It's how a team's playing at a certain time, too. Like Notre Dame showed that last year, right? And then I just think that Florida's playing at a level. They had a tough time at the beginning of the year and all that stuff that they went through. And then now they're playing at a level. Now, they played Texas, so I don't think is a great football team right now. We just talked about that with the quarterback. And their offensive line, I think, is struggling. But I still think that Florida is going to be the best team that we've seen. And I think that Florida obviously will come in here with a chip on their shoulder to redeem what they did last season, you know. And that they got their asses handed to them against the Aggies at home. So they're going to want to come in here and do the same thing to the Aggies.
What have you seen from Florida's offensive line?
I think that they have a good offensive line. I know number 70 there, Damian George, he played at North Shore. I recruited him back in the day. You know, I think that they're a good offensive line. I don't think they're a great offensive line. You know, they ran the ball well, but like you watch the running back down at the goal line, you know, he has to bounce one for a touchdown, but he should have got tackled in the backfield. You know, Texas defense isn't great either. He was hit in the backfield. He should have been tackled, but the safety couldn't get him down. So, you know, that shouldn't happen. You know, you don't see that with the Aggies. You don't see people getting hit in the backfield, which is obviously the number one thing as a line coach, right? Is that there's nobody initially in the crossing the line of scrimmage. So I think that they're good up front. I don't think that they're great. I think our defensive line will be a tough matchup for them. And you know, it's really funny how a season goes because if you look at the D line, right, like in the first couple games when we were playing teams that aren't in the same league as us, you know, when you're playing teams like that, you know, the D line didn't look great in every game.
Right.
And no matter how you cut it, right, like I can talk all the coach speak that I want, you know, and you got to get up for every game and all that stuff. You know, it's hard for guys to get up for those games. And so do they play as hard and all that? So those are the hard things about coaching, you know, because you would hope that they would, you know, but I'm not going to say that if I'm in the same shoes, you know, they're not trying not to get up for it.
Right.
It's just the way it is, right? So maybe that's the reason for some of those stats. That's why those stats at the beginning of the year are really, really not something you want to look at.
They're just reps, right? At the beginning of the year should be just about getting those reps.
Yeah. And then, you know, the problem with those reps is, you know, you go back to a few years ago with the App State game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so all of a sudden those reps, that's why when you go into those games, it really is an awful game for a coach because because you know that your team might not be up, right? Obviously, the Aggies should have won that game, and you know, and I've had it happen to me as a coach. It happens, and all of a sudden, you're in the fight for your life against a team that you should be killing, and all of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, it's happening, right? And then you try to get them fired up. Next thing you know, it's like you're coaching them in the Super Bowl, you know, and you're on them, and then you're trying to get the game back in, and it just doesn't happen for you.
How do you think the A&M offensive line is playing?
I think they're playing well. You know, obviously controlling the line of scrimmage, right? You had 64 plays to their 46. Obviously, a big part of that is in the last game. The big part of that is our defense as well, right? But I think that they're playing well. You ended up with 51 carries for 303 yards. Anytime you're going to get 303, you know, you had 5.9 yards a carry. You know, and so, you know, and you really didn't have any long runs. You know, like a lot of stats can be swayed. Like you can have a 200-yard rushing day, you know, and you had an 80-yard run and a 60-yard run on 25 carries, and that's not really a great job. You had the two big plays, but you know, other than that, you were rushing for 2.2 yards a carry, whatever it is. I didn't do the math, but whatever it is, you know. So it doesn't always mean the stats don't always mean that you did a great job. You know, so, but I think that they're doing a really good job up front. You know, I think that, you know, 78's got to do a little bit more consistent in both the run and the pass. He's a good player. He just needs to be more consistent. You can see at the goal line, they run the fullback dive, which I love the fact that the coordinator Stock with me just went through the roof because he handed the ball to the fullback, which is great. Nobody does that anymore. It's a dying breed. I'm a union card holder right there in the fullback club, so very excited that 87 carried the ball down there. But he kind of got hit by 78, which knocked him off a little bit. So, down at the goal line, they really got to do at the goal line when they're playing O-line, it's all about just forward movement, initial movement going forward.
Yeah.
And so it is just, you're a tank, and you've got to go. Tanks don't go backwards, tanks go forward. So you got to get on him. It's not necessarily the ability to cut him off. It's just to get movement forward so that nobody gets hit going in the other direction. As long as you're going toward the goal line, those running backs will have a great shot at getting the ball in there.
Yeah. So why don't they line up, and you can help me understand this, more under center in that situation? Because when you have, a half a yard to go, if that, what is the advantage of being back?
Yeah, so I won't pretend to know, the answer to that totally because I'm not coaching there. I say that because, if you're the coordinator, right, if you're Klein and you're the coordinator over there, right, and you listen to the radio or the TV, which you shouldn't be doing, but if you did, all right, like I hear people who are like, well, why don't they read the read run with the quarterback down there? Why don't they can understand? They think that gives them the best chance to score touchdowns, and that's why they're doing that. Okay. My dad used to say it all the time. He said, Jimmy, just get under center. I'm like, Dad, it's not 1928, all right? And I understand, I want to get under center too. I'm a line coach, so I want to do that. And so having said that, I do understand, the threat of 10 keeping the ball, and he showed that in the game, right? Because they do a good job at really threatening the whole field with this offense because you could see down at the goal line, 10 kept it on the read run and he scored. They had a nice motion come back and they really did a great job targeting on that play, which is not easy. Then they ran a speed sweep to 1 and he scored. So really did a great job down. It's really hard when you get inside the 5-yard line. You have to realize, throwing the ball down there, is not a sure thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just ask the Seattle Seahawks against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, right? So, if you have Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, hand him the ball down there. And so you're really going to go to your threats, right? So in the Aggies case, right, you got 10 and then you got 8. So you got some really good weapons there. Then you got 1 on the perimeter and you got 7 on the perimeter to get them the ball in space out there. As many ways as you can get them the ball and disperse the ball amongst those 4 players, 8, 7, 1, and 10. You really have a lot of threats right there. And then 4 showed up the other night, right? The tailback. He did a good job in that football game. So that's my story on that.
I think one thing that I am liking a lot, and I think you will too, is they ran the ball well, but they ran the ball exceptionally well in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and that's what you want, right? To not only for your backs to get going, but your offensive line to have worn the other team down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said that last week. I was like, in the game prior against Auburn, rather than throw the screens out there on the edges, it's a different game at that time because it was much closer. I'm going to put it on the line, you know what I mean? So I'm going to put it on the O-line. I'm going to challenge them at that time. We should be able to run the ball with this line and this scheme and these backs. We should be able to run the ball in the fourth quarter to win the football game. And I think, just like you said, that is where they got a lot of their yards. And so to me, that is a credit to the line that they were able to do that. I mean, we had the ball for 38 minutes in that game compared to their 21 minutes. And so that to me is a reflection of the line. They just did a great job controlling the line of scrimmage. And like you said, finishing the game, to me is critical. And to put that on them is critical.
All right. Speaking of more of that on TexAgs.com. If you're a premium subscriber, you get to see him breaking down the film. We'll hit a break here. We're way late for a break. When insurance matters most, who's going to answer your call? That's Rollo Insurance. Morgan and the crew, Jason, Jackson, Keith, you name it, the whole gang over there will take amazing care of you. That's what they do. And they're not a call center or an automated system. You're going to get their direct cell phone number. They're going to take great care of you. They're super local, too. They're on Highway 6 here in College Station, but they take care of everybody, right? Like they're nationwide, by the way. You can find them almost everywhere, but you especially find them in Texas with over 60 offices here in the great state of Texas. If it's business, if it's farm, or if it's personal, auto, you name it, you'll start a relationship with an expert who puts you first. That's the Rollo difference. That's the Rollo way. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO. Go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. As a reminder, the final segment of the program brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. A little bit of content information for you all. Later on today, Nuño's Notes will come out. Intel from Gainesville. Looking forward to you all seeing that. Got some really good info there. Olin's got the biggest storylines in the SEC with the SEC Roundup. We'll have a lot more NIL interviews. Looks like Nico Partita's coming in and Zach Clements. And the Thunderdome on Thursday with the B team at 4:15. So that's coming up. We've got Kay Nagley already on the site recapping Texas's 7-5 win, Texas A&M 7-5 win over Baylor, and recruiting information brought to you by Rio Agave. So that's
can expect an Ask Lucci as well.
Is that right? Well, David Edmond, was talking bad about the Oklahoma defense. And then Aaron Torres shot me the tweet. They're first in total defense, opposing yards, sacks, tackles, third down conversions, opponent scoring defense, pass defense, touchdowns allowed, passing TDs, plays of 10-plus yards. I mean, there's a lot on this list. They're number one or second or third at most. So far, still season to play. It's TexAgs Live. All right, we are back here on TexAgs Live. Fall ball continues this week at Olson as the Aggies host TCU tomorrow night in their final exhibition of the fall season. First pitch scheduled for 6 o'clock. And joining us to talk about it, of course, Bronny's always here when we talk some baseball. Michael Earley here to chit-chat. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for joining us. So we have a similar routine.
Yeah, let's hear this.
This is not about working out, okay? He works out way more than I do. This is not about that. When I go to the stadium to do my preseason hit or pregame hit, I see you all the time walking by. So I've seen you every game this season. So we have a very similar schedule as we're hitting Kyle Field.
Do not let him talk to the recruits. I'm usually rolling in with about 20 people, but yeah.
Yeah, I see you. I see you.
You haven't asked him to be on the pregame broadcast?
He looks busy. He doesn't seem like he's chit-chatting. He seems to be working quite hard.
He has been working hard on the recruiting trail. We talked about this last week, but another good week for you guys. What do you think has been resonating so well with these class of 2027 visitors?
Yeah, we just try to sell A&M. A&M, the program, the people involved in it mostly. You know, we're getting ready to we show them our awesome $30 million player development facility. I just ran over here from planning some little details on, but we really just try to sell the people and the education and all those things. And the baseball part, all of it. And Caleb does an awesome job with that and everyone involved. Those visits take a lot of time, a lot of energy. And, you know, we only have so much manpower in baseball, but I just think people like what we're doing. They like what we're, you know, selling and telling them, try to, you know, give them a vision of what it could be and what it's going to be for them as a player and as a student. And just it's a huge part of their life. And we want to try to paint that picture for them. And we've, you know, you never know till you get them though, right? I mean, we got to do 2 recruitments, not only recruiting them against other schools, but the draft, and then baseball's hard. A lot can change in 2 years.
Yeah, and you got to make decisions like, hey, we have to go after these high-profile players because if we don't, our rivals will, and you just never know with this draft stuff. So, like, how is that part of the discussions with you and Coach Longley and Coach Pennington, Coach Kelly? Do y'all say, hey, like, we have to go recruit? He's probably a draft, but we have to go try to get him.
At this point in high school, in this class we're recruiting, there's no one in the country that would have told you Gavin Grahovic would have come to school. So you still recruit them.
Mm-hmm.
You still recruit them.
Nico Partita, the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. So you don't, and there's guys that, honestly, there's guys we didn't get at this time. No one said that. You do not know. So you just get the players and kind of figure it out later.
And speaking of that player facility, is there anything you can share? Do you have a timeline on when some of the mock-ups may go public? For everybody to see, just kind of where y'all at in terms of taking those next steps.
I've seen the mock-ups. I have no idea when they'll go public, but I mean, we've met a ton, and the meeting we just had was, I mean, we're talking about where to put cabinets and stuff, and that's where I kind of step back. And but yeah, it's incredible. It is incredible, and it's amazing what the people doing it, how they can put your words into visual. I'm not good with space. I'm not good with designing anything. They kind of just let us talk, and then we come back the next time, and you're like, wow, like that's really close to what we talked about. But I tell you what, it is massive, and it's going to be the biggest and best in the country.
Well, before we look forward to tomorrow night, let's look back at last Friday night. You had to be pleased. Over the course of 12 innings, I think you only had a couple get away from you. Offensively, you start slow at the plate, but on the mound, it was outstanding. Just kind of take me through your overall thoughts on the night, and then the freshman class, man. I know you guys have been excited about them, but those hitters, they showed at least a glimpse into the future.
Yeah, they're really talented. I thought we did really well on the mound. I thought we pounded the zone. I think the best part about the scrimmage for everyone and why our fan base is so awesome is playing in front of a crowd is a big deal. Sometimes that's harder than actually playing against the opponent and getting used to that. And you saw a couple pitchers that have been awesome in practice, some freshmen, and they got in front of the crowd and it sped them up a little bit. And same thing with guys at the plate. So that's the best part about all of that. I thought we pitched it well. I thought we hit fine. I don't think the score was, indicative of how we necessarily did. And there's a lot of parts of offense, right? If you're just looking at hitting and scoring runs, we did well. There's some base running things that were not good. There's some situational things that were not good. But in a situation like that, it is good. And we got the awesome camera system, and what I say is the eye in the sky does not lie. And we go back and look and show those little things and try to get better with them. But I thought for the most part, it was fine. It was good. I think it can be a lot better. And I think we had some balls get through that maybe shouldn't have got through. But like where we're at, just need to continue to grow and do some things better.
You may have discussed this last week, but just for me to understand, how important is this fall ball for the foundation of the team come spring, especially now in your second year?
It's really important. I mean, it's extremely important. I mean, we're practicing extremely hard, and like I said, I think last week when I was on here, like, credit to our guys, like, they're responding with everything that we throw at them. But we need to lay a foundation of how we play the game, how you practice the game, how you do little details, like how you do your bunts and batting practice, to And when we play, if there's a guy on first base and there's less than 2 outs or any base and there's a line drive head high in the infield, you should see every player work back to the base, not freeze, not hold, definitely not go. So in batting practice, I need to see that every single time we do it. So little details, translating them into the game and learning from other people's mistakes. So that's why video on base running is so important. There's 1,000 different ways you can mess up on the bases, right? So you're probably not going to do every one. You got to learn from other people's mistakes, and they've done good. But you got to continuously remind guys and continuously teach, and credit to the players. They're taking to it really, really well.
One of the things we talked about was whenever you brought in Coach Pennington, trying to press the pedal a little bit when you could. When the math equation says we can, we're going to do it a little bit more. Jordan Wilson at 6'4", 230 pounds, had 2 stolen bases, and I think there is going to be a concerted effort to do that more. What did you think of how those guys responded in that scrimmage, and what have you seen out of that arena throughout the fall?
They did well. They did really well. And it's, I think what Cliff has allowed with some of the things he does is giving you a little more odds within those math equations with little things you can see that the clock doesn't necessarily see. And they're doing good. And Jordan gets smoked in the knee, and that's like the best time to steal a base, right? Because no one thinks you're going to.
Yeah.
And they've, it's tough because when our pitchers are doing it right and how Coach Kelly teaches it, it's really hard to steal on our guys. Now, they're not a finished product in that regard yet, but it's harder in practice for us to actually practice it. So Cliff's done an awesome job of trying to simulate the game as much as possible, but that's one part of the game. Just with the look systems, everyone's different, and we do it a certain way, and we do it really, really well. So when our guys see it not done quite as well as our pitchers do it, it should kind of open up some avenues for them to do some different things.
How did you feel, or is there a little bit of you want the newcomers to get off to a good start? So freshmen, take them even out of the picture here, but Zane Becker and Jake Dewar, Wesley Jordan, these transfers in, do you kind of want them in that first scrimmage to have some success just so they'll settle a little bit? And to varying degrees, they all did. I thought Zane Becker was really good the other night.
Zane is awesome. Zane's been great since he's been here, and you want him to have some success. There's nothing like getting that first hit or first ground ball at you, or even I remember when I played, it was like I love being on defense first, and I just hope I got a fly ball hit to me just to kind of settle. So and I think from a game sense, it's really good just to get out there and play against another team, play in front of a crowd, and a lot of those guys. I mean, I would say most of them, if not all of them, except Zane, that transferred here. Or freshmen, they've never played in a crowd that large, and we were in October.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the best part of the whole thing.
Nico, we talked about the young players. For folks who didn't know his game, they became quite familiar. Just talk a little bit about his development.
He's great. I mean, I'm glad he's here, and I think he committed about around this time last year, a little bit before, and he just does some things hitting wise that not a lot of guys do. He repeats really well. He's super short, doesn't take big swings. As he grows and matures and gets stronger, he can hit another level. And he just plays the game with a low heartbeat. Talk about someone who is not sped up at all. And it's just who he is. And it's how he practices and how he's been around. And I don't know how you teach that. I don't know how you recruit that. I honestly didn't know that about him when we got him. I just knew he was really, really skilled. So to this point, he's done an awesome job. I'm sure he's going to get challenged, and we're going to continue to challenge him to try to get him to break a little bit, but he's one of those freshmen, and he's as talented as freshman as I've ever had.
And then when you start looking at what Nico did in game one, all those freshmen. Luke Billings was awesome too. I mean, I think of all these guys we've talked about, we've probably talked about him the least, and he did just as much as everybody else last Friday night. But what I'm asking you is, these young guys, how have you seen them push the older guys ahead of them, and how do you? There are going to be some decisions to make, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just the talent is undeniable, but how do you judge talent and experience? And I know what you're going to say. The best player is going to play.
For sure, no doubt. And, I mean, they have a long way to go too, right? Yeah. I mean, we've seen a snapshot of them in practice, so I think time will tell a little bit on all of them. But as far as talent-wise and depth of talent freshman class, it's pretty deep on the offensive side. So, yes, the best players will play. And Luke Billings is a really good player, and Jordan's a really good player. Fall ball can be deceptive as well, so we need to let these guys kind of settle in and get their feet under them. Nico included, Bosto included. You never quite know until the real games start. But I like where it's at, right? It's better than the alternative. And yeah, Luke's just a ball player. Like, he's that guy. I think you could put him anywhere on the field. He's going to look terrible in practice at times in certain spots, but you put him in the game, and he's going to be awesome.
Well, and I guess more specifically too, like, what does this push Ben Royo? Does this push Travis Chestnut? Like, you'd hope that it would. And Royo doesn't start the other night. May have been a wake-up call for him. I don't know. But he goes out there and hits a homer, has another hit, makes a pretty sweet play on a ball in no man's land. Like, you would think that maybe these guys are like, hey, I've got to go.
Yeah, I really sure hope I don't have to motivate anybody. And there's no greater motivator than the bench. And that's not necessarily why they didn't play or did not play. But, yeah, it should. There's a lot of good players, especially in that infield. So, for us, the hard part and the great part is I don't really know where to put everyone yet. So you better have good days, and you better do all the things right. And you're not going to be judged on home runs hit. Everyone can hit home runs. You're going to be judged on the little things will keep you in the lineup, and the little things will get you out of the lineup. So, yeah, Ben did an awesome job when he got in, and he's had a great week of practice, and he's probably earned himself to start tomorrow. But we'll see how practice goes today.
And then I'll cut you off, David, but we got to ask about Hakopian. He came in here and he said he wanted to play. How's he feeling? And then will Gavin play defensively tomorrow?
Chris will not play. He's not ready to play yet. It's not fair to him. Chris will be fine. Chris is going to be more than prepared to play in the season. And Gavin's not playing defense, not because he can't. Just we don't want him to dive, right? Like, that shoulder injury happened on a dive or a slide. And while he can, we just want to give it 4 months more of no impact. And I don't think it's fair to Gavin, or when you have people in the stands and you're playing another team, to tell a guy to go out there and play and not dive and not slide. He's not even allowed to run to second unless it's a stand-up, and then we get him off the bases. We just want to be super smart on that shoulder, but he's going to get 5-6 at-bats again. And he looked good, and he's had a really good week of practice.
Mike, in a 12-inning format, do you have certain objectives, or do you maybe manage differently? Is it a different kind of mindset in this exhibition world?
You play every inning like it's close. So when we're stealing bases up 19 runs the other day, and so were they, and it's one of those. There's no unwritten rules of baseball, and you can pinch run whoever you want. It basically is a practice, and you can roll an inning. You just have another opponent out there, which kind of takes up the level in a crowd. So I wish I could do that every single weekend. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you pretty much can do whatever you want, but you want to try to make it as game-like and realistic as possible. I mean, we hit 10 guys. There's a DH and an extra hitter, things like that. But other than that, I mean, you're playing ball, like calling balks, pitch clock, all those things.
Well, and this will be tomorrow. Tomorrow night will be the first. You've been doing these fall scrimmages for a while, but this is the most high-profile team to come in here. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, that's a real program there in Fort Worth. Kirk Sarloos has done a great job. I know there's some kind of crossover between the rosters and coaching staff. You know those guys well. What do you anticipate seeing from the Horned Frogs?
I think they'll be really good. They're a great program. They got a great coaching staff. Those guys do an awesome job. They got really good players, and they're good. I mean, like you said, they had a good season last year. They're going to have a good team this year, and that's what we wanted. Wanted some challenge, right? As I've done a few of these, you kind of change your thought process on what you want out of them, really depending on the team you have. And I'm glad they're coming up tonight, practicing on the field, hitting in the morning in the cage, like they're treating it like a road simulated game, and so are we. And I'm really excited to get them in here because it's also too like it's one of those teams you might see down the road. So
yeah, absolutely.
Nice to get an early look at them.
And then on the pitching side, do you plan to do it similarly? And then I meant to ask you, what was the kind of thought process? Everybody went an inning except Aiden Sims, really sharp. He got 2. What was the thought process there?
We just wanted to get to 12, and it was going to depend on where guys were. There's I think about 3 guys that we would have stretched to 2. You got to be careful though, because you only got a certain amount of guys and you want to play. But he just looked great, and I think I said before he pitched, he'd impressed me, and he's continued to impress. And not that the TrackMan and the metrics mean everything, because they don't. But when you're getting guys out, number one, and competing, and then you look at the metrics and those are really good too, you're like, okay, this could be real. And there's times where guys have good outings and you kind of look at the numbers and history would tell you, yeah, he did well, but over time, does he do well? So Aiden.
Is that the Evan Oschenbeck thing? Is like, man, he gets guys out. I don't care what the metrics say.
His metrics were good.
Yeah, well, especially toward the end. They kept getting better.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you get guys out, don't get me wrong. I don't care. It's just dead straight, but it don't happen a lot.
And then, so what's the plan pitching-wise? Will Weston get the ball to start again? Do you not know?
Still got to practice today. No, he will. I mean, I would think so. We like to keep Weston in that routine and not really knowing with Shane out and not really knowing who our third guy is. Yeah. It's good for him to do that, and I think we'll keep him to one. Weston's in a great spot. We want to make sure we continue to keep him healthy. But JK, we've tossed around a couple other guys possibly, but I think in the end, I feel pretty good about hopefully getting off to a good start with Weston Moss.
Well, and those transfer arms out there, Ethan Darden looked sharp. Bollinger had a good inning. Like those, seems like and Juan Vargas comes in. The only really kind of strenuous moment of the game. I mean, you bring him in, bases loaded and 2 outs, and he comes in and punches a guy on 3 pitches and looks like he's got good ride-run profile.
Yeah, and there's another good part to that too. Like Vincent struggled a little, and he hadn't struggled in practice at all. And we're thinking about getting him out, and JK is like, let's let him face this lefty because this is what he's going to need to do in a pressure situation. And he strikes the guy out, and you bring in Juan. So yeah, Juan looked great, and Hunter's going to be really good. He's just got to get settled in, and he's young. He's young, and he's never done this before. But overall, pitching has been great, and we got some really good guys not throwing right now. Like don't forget about Josh Stewart.
Yeah.
Caden McCoy and Shane Sadeo. Like adding those guys in is really going to help the depth of our pitching staff.
All right, great seeing you, sir. Thank you.
Great seeing you guys. Appreciate it.
You. All right, we'll hit a break when we come back. The Fan Show next on TexAgs Live, brought to you by Prize Picks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Fan Show. That's not good.
Hey, I mean, look,
the Aggies are 5-0.
It's 2 weeks in a row Coach Earley has stolen our thunder, and I know the people want to hear from us.
Much more than Coach Earley.
Yeah.
You're right.
2 weeks in a row we got to follow him. That's not
delusional.
By the way, this is brought to you by Prize Picks, the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of players, I feel like I'm eating cake because I just had shrimp, and I can feel it. Anyway, including pros and sharks, you can pick more than or less than 2 to 6 players, stat projections, and watch the winnings roll. PrizePicks.com/TexAgs is the website with the code TexAgs. Roy May, hello.
What's going on? I don't think the shrimp is going to make you too jittery, though.
No, I'll be fine. Hunter Sherliff, hey, buddy.
Howdy.
How are you?
Good.
And Matt Browning.
Hey, buddy.
Sir. It's been a couple of weeks.
Buenos dias.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Ah, muy bien.
There's no social center person here. This is so hard to do. I don't know if I can ask you guys.
Do you remember the question?
What is on your mind, Hunter?
All right. What's on my mind? So we were talking about out in the lobby. Great atmosphere last week.
Mm-hmm.
Really just something different and electric about that. And it's a little bit like the Auburn game, though. I wasn't worried, but it was the slow start.
Annoyed, maybe?
Yeah, but you could tell who was in control of that game, even early on. And yeah, you can bust one, like they're going to get they can throw a touchdown pass, or kind of like Auburn did, get a freak play and get a touchdown. I just felt like Aggies were in control of that game. Defense showed up again, and that was a great day. Great day of Aggie Park and tailgating and watching the Longhorn Florida game before that. So it was awesome.
Mr. May.
I have 2 things on my mind.
Volleyball.
Yeah, that was a tough loss. If nothing else, that's definitely the number 3 team. I wish they would at least taken them to 5 sets, but tough loss. But you're playing the number 3 team in the nation, is what it is. That wasn't one of the 2, though. For me, one, this is building a house, right? Notre Dame, we laid a foundation, and every single conference win is building it brick by brick, right? Can we keep building the house? It's sustainability, and I think that's been the kind of the narrative, not just within TexAgs, but just across the country. Different pundits talking about it. It feels like the sustainability is there, which to us makes it feel like this is a completely different program. So I'm excited. I watched the Pulse last night, got all fired back up. But it's exciting to see, again, winning in different ways, seeing different guys step up. Samford, Cassius Howell, hopefully get Scooby back. But defense has just been ridiculous. And the second thing on my mind is I've got something for you, Nuño.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I do.
I love gifts.
I got a gift for you.
Okay, am I allowed to look now?
Yes, yeah, you can open it up right now.
All right. Is it cake?
No.
Okay, good.
It's, my friend John made it.
What is this? Oh, final score, September 25th, 2025. Nuño 1, cake 0. And I'm going to put that right here.
Attaboy.
This is going to go in my office. Thank you so much for that.
That's actually cool.
Matt Browning walked in the studio today. You guys saw this, upset with me that I had cake, not understanding it was a bet.
I did not know the context behind the cake. Okay.
So you didn't listen to the whole show.
Yeah, you
so
listened.
I was out of the country, and I got back, and I wanted to see who filled in for me. Dr. Chad did a great job, by the way.
Great.
Dr. Chad, thank you for you actually kept me in the standings on my prize picks, by the way. So thank you. And but I'm watching. I don't have the context. I'm just like, why is Nuño eating cake? It was so beyond what I know of you. So
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed, but now I'm proud of you. That's great. Good job.
Like I've told people, I tackle it one way. Put my head down and bite by bite, water by water.
Power through.
I gotta be honest, that truly is kind of like a feat of man, though. Like, I'm a fatty, and I don't think I can pull that off.
I mean, Nuño's building a culture in this studio.
He is
trying.
He is. He's changing the narrative.
One fan show person at a time. Matt Browning, what's on your mind, buddy?
Hey, buddy. Well, I'm going to echo a little bit what Hunter said. The game atmosphere this last weekend was outstanding. I'm telling you that I think the 2 of the best game day atmospheres I've ever attended are the 2 blackouts. I mean, LSU last year was electric. I mean, I remember walking out of that going, I think that's the best Kyle's ever been. I remember thinking that. And then the other night, I mean, now the opponent wasn't, I don't feel like the stakes were high, don't get me wrong. I think it was LSU versus Mississippi, but either way, I mean, you look up and I'm sitting there and I look up and I was telling them, you know, I'm a game goer. I like to go to road games. And while I'm there, I drink in the other teams' atmospheres, their culture. I really want to be a part of it. I want to see kind of how everyone does. That's the reason why I go on these trips. And I sat there and I tried to put myself for just a second in the mind of an opposing fan that would be sitting in that stadium looking at all that black with those white towels going and the lights now and the music and then the band and everything. And I was like, this is the best atmosphere in college football. There's just no way anything is better. I went to Notre Dame this year. Notre Dame was great. It was a great atmosphere. It was cool, but nothing like this. Nothing like this. I went to the Swamp last year. Nothing like this. It's insane how good it's gotten. It's always been good. Don't get me wrong. It has always been amazing. It's always been an amazing place to go and see a college football game. There's a reason why people put it on their bucket list of college football. Yeah. But that blackout is just at a different level. It is so cool. And then I'm super excited. Now we have yet another night game at Kyle this week with some throwback stuff, which is kind of cool. But I mean, the idea, it was so loud, so electric. It was just unbelievable. And for anybody listening who hadn't come to a game, I've talked to a few people who are like, I haven't been to a game there in years. You need to go.
Yeah.
You need to go. You got to experience it. It's unbelievable.
Did you guys see this? Speaking of fans, there's a video on social media of Mississippi State fans cursing at Aggies and like men that look like they have real jobs. Those like normal dudes, like getting an Aggies fan. The Aggies are just laughing.
I missed that. I've never understood that.
You saw these guys, these 20-somethings, in their golf gear. So I couldn't tell if they were like cussing at their own fans for leaving early or what they were.
I thought they were cussing at Aggies.
Probably.
It looked like a couple of them were arguing amongst themselves in the video that I saw, but I don't understand that. Like I go and look, I've been to many A&M road games where we've lost, okay? Where we've gotten our butts handed to us, right? You're there for the experience of it all. To get angry and act like a yahoo. That's why you don't go get all liquored up beforehand. You're only going to make yourself look bad at the end of the day, and you make your own fan base look bad. I'm sure most Mississippi State fans are great people, but you see this one video of Mississippi State fans coming here, and now you think, well, they're a bunch of yahoos, and so it makes you look bad. So for us, when we go on the road, don't act like that.
Let's hit a break. When we come back, I want to ask you about this year's team, why it feels like a sustainable model, because it does to me at least. Right now, we're talking about the Association of Former Students. If your organization or business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, you should check out the Association of Former Students that brings Aggies of all ages together during their awesome events held throughout the year. These events are Aggie Ring Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, The Gathering. They all welcome tons of thousands of guests. And there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities to get your brand in front of those attendees. And they offer a wide variety of different options to promote your brand, from title sponsorship naming to on-site presence to activation to much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie Magazine and the Aggie News newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, check out the association that's been helping out the Aggie Network for over 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students. All right, we're back here on the Fan Show, brought to you by Prize Picks on TexAgs, live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. A couple things I want to read. First off, Finney Coleman was my professor back in the day at Texas A&M in 1998. We still stay in contact. He lives in New Mexico now, and he's got an initiative that he's very proud of, serving those who served. And I'm going to try to read some of this. New Mexico Vets for Pets is more than a program. It's a response, a refusal, a commitment to build something better, something that heals and brings together the lives of those who have been overlooked. Talks about veteran suicide rates and meeting animal welfare challenges. So just check them out, New Mexico Veterans for Pets. You can call them up at 505-280-2955, or you can go to nmvetsforpets.org. Love Finney Coleman. We stay in contact all the time. The other thing I wanted to do is kind of on a different note. This is about you, and I'm going to defend you here.
All right.
All right? There's a gentleman on the YouTube page, Spittle Racer, and he says, a new rule, no one 50 and above is allowed to wear a visor. And I think actually only 50 and above should be wearing a visor.
I mean, somebody tell my
By the way,
boy,
he's 36.
Tell my boy Spurrier, who's got a national championship and a Heisman Trophy, he can't wear a visor. I don't even golf.
Hey, how about Kirby? I mean, Kirby's got what, 3 national championships?
How about Andre Agassi? He wears them, right? I don't know.
I still got some lettuce, so I can show it off the top. And then,
he has hair. I mean, boy, hey, you're crazy. 50 is where you're supposed to.
New rule. If your name is Sprittle Racer, you probably don't dress good. That's probably not a rule. That's just a thought.
We're a blind
and
observation.
What man does? Anyway.
That's Hunter's trademark, all right? Stay off his trademark.
Yeah.
They get mad at me when I don't wear the visor at the fan show.
This guy had the lawyer this morning, but he still brought the visor.
Visor looks good.
So here's my question before we go to Luke. Through 5 games, what gives you the most confidence that this season, what we see playing out so far, is real? You start us off.
I'm going to just kind of echo what I've heard from a lot of the national guys. That makes a lot of sense to me. A lot of them say the same thing. I mean, we've shown that we can win in multiple ways. We can win in a shootout. We can win in a fist fight. We can play good defense. We can play good offense. Now, have we put both of those together at one time yet? I don't think we have. And so, so the idea is we've shown great offense, we've shown great defense. Let's get a couple games where we put both those together and just blow somebody's doors out. But you can win in multiple ways, and it's impressive.
One, I think it starts with Elko, but 2, what he's building here, right? And that's why we're having success. You had a 22 recruiting class between knuckleheads and then a coaching transition. We lost a majority of those, right? So he had a big gap in some talent and some depth, and he's already built that in 2 years. So we can have injuries or we can have mishaps in certain positions, and he's filling those. And that's what's making us win this year. Yeah. I mean, that's the key, especially on defense. And I'm going to put it in the running back room now. We just talked about Ruben just goes off last week.
Been waiting to see
Le'Veon limps off, and there was no drop in quality or rushes. So,
yeah, I mean, you look at his track record here so far, and having to deal with, like you said, a roster that he inherited that we lost so many players from because of the coaching change and just kind of roster turnover, and what he's been able to do to plug our needs effectively, efficiently. And then I joked about watching the polls, but seeing the vibe in the locker room and the stuff they put out on social media, how these players, you can just see that it's a team environment. They love to play for each other. And there's just some dogs out there, man.
Yeah, and one real other quick thing is that no team, I don't think, especially in the SEC, is going unscathed this year. We're going to lose a game, all right? There's just no, I can't fathom a scenario where anyone makes it unscathed through an SEC schedule.
I can.
But the fact is that now with this expanded playoff, you can and still move forward. And so I don't think that I just feel like Elko, even if we were to drop a game, isn't going to allow it to. I mean, the way that they'll recover, I think, will be pretty impressive.
Let me jump in there. I don't think they're going to go unscathed. I don't know if anybody will. I agree with that. But here's my but. All right, it's in the word. I look at this now, and we talked about it in the first segment of the show. Going to LSU is still daunting because it's LSU. I don't feel as daunting as I thought before the season. Going to Texas doesn't seem as daunting. I think Missouri might be better than we thought. We'll find out here in a couple days. But I agree with you, and I'm super worried or concerned with this Florida game. The schedule may actually be an advantage for Texas A&M.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree. Just saying that, like, so I'm not saying, oh, we're going to expect losses. No, I'm just saying that if we accept for the loss, I feel like this is the kind of team that can turn around and recover pretty quick. They're not going to let it just get them down and dwell on it. They're gonna be able to probably. And a lot of the good coaches sometimes enjoy a loss. Now, not in football, especially college football. You can't really, but they'll use that as building blocks for moving forward in a lot of the cases.
All right, we're going to do a condensed version of the fan show game. The Prize Picks fan show game with Luke Evangelist at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Cartoon character, Luke, what do you have for us?
All right, we're going to start with Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback at Indiana, more than or less than 229.5 passing yards against Oregon.
Oregon, that's right. And they're in Indiana, aren't they?
Bro, come on, Luke.
Mendoza. Yeah, they're in Eugene.
They're in Eugene. 229. Eesh, I think Oregon's good.
I think Oregon's really good. I'm going to say less.
I'm just a hater on Indiana in general, so I'm going to go less.
Same.
I'm going to go less, too. He has done it on several occasions this year. In fact, he's done it in every game but one. But I'm going to go less.
Arch Manning, more than or less than 205.5 passing yards against Oklahoma.
They're going to have to play catch-up, so he's going to have to throw. I'm going more than.
I don't know if their O-line can block for him. I mean, it may knock him out of the game. I'm going to go less, out of spite.
That's tough because, they're the king of the 5-yard passes that go for 25. So I'll go less.
Less?
Yeah, I'm going to go less.
Okay.
I'm the resident SIP hater, but I'm going to go more. I think he's going to have to sling the ball around at some point.
Pretty low number.
It is a low number.
Yeah.
I'm saying less.
Next up, we've got Julian Sayin from Ohio State. They're playing at Illinois, more than or less than 270.5 passing yards.
Big number.
A lot of noises.
But
I'm going to go less.
The old man board.
I'm going to go more. Illinois has been exposed already, so.
What's the number again?
More.
270.5.
That's large.
It's a big number. I'll go more. Yeah.
Less.
Ty Simpson from Alabama. They're playing at Missouri, more than or less than 285.5 passing yards.
I'm going to go more. I'm going to go more.
I mean, he's good.
I love me some Alabama right now, but I think he may do it in other ways, but I'm going to go less, even though he'll have a good game.
I think he'll have a great game. I think he'll do a little bit more with his legs, so I'll go less.
I'm going to go more.
It was 285, you said?
Yeah.
Whew, he's only done that one. He's done it twice.
I'm going more.
DeCorian Moore, the wide receiver from Oregon, more than or less than 52.5 receiving yards.
More.
Yeah, more.
I'm going to say less.
More.
Yeah, he's special.
Next up, we've got Marcel Reed, more than or less than 272 total yards.
Oh, more.
I don't know that. Hold on. Let me think about this again. This is Florida's defense.
I'm going to say more just because Miami was able to move the ball. They grinded on them. So I'm going more.
Well, I'll keep it with more.
10's going to get it on a fast start.
What do you have, Roy?
More.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go in more.
Luke, I feel like I need to give you a cappuccino or a hug. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just trying to get through this.
Okay.
Ahmad Hardy, the running back from Missouri, more than or less than 99.5 rushing yards.
Less.
More. I mean,
I'm going more.
This is not.
Everybody, we're shouting at once. Can I get one answer at a time?
Less.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
I don't think this is the Alabama normal defense, even though I like the team. I'm going more.
More.
I don't think I want to play anymore.
I know.
The attitude coming
Getting
from that
scolded from the center.
All right, we've got one more, David. Let's try and keep it together. Jeremiah Love.
It's the show that I host, not my show. It's the show that I host.
I know. Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame, more than or less than 99.5 rushing yards. Can anybody tell me who they're going to play? Okay, they're going to play NC State.
Oh, more. That dude's good.
He's good, but I went more on against Arkansas, and he's catching 2 touchdown passes, and he had some short runs in. And then they pulled him because they're up by 50.
And Price is great. If Price gets hot, I'm gonna go less.
I'll go less too.
I'm going more. All I can think of is their stadium. Whenever he would get the ball and he'd do something good, they go, "That's the power of love." They play the Huey Lewis thing. So
I'm going less.
All right, perfect. That's all I got for y'all.
Thank you, Luke.
Cool.
Appreciate it, Luke. Thanks very much. What's up with this guy?
Luke's just like, can we get this over with so I can go back to
Shows
covering
up
basketball?
like sleepy, mad at me for asking, talking at the same time.
The 20-year-old is talking up back to a bunch of 50-year-old men.
Add a couple years.
Advisors. The beauty is I get to choose who gets on the show in the future. When it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team. And Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors is an independent fiduciary firm serving clients. You see how we've been working on that? 2 weeks in a row. No mistakes. Serving across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, including 9 CFPs, a CFA, a CPA, and their expertise runs deep at Paragon because credentials matter and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or call them up 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. And we're back. Did you say what kind of bag was it? Grocery bag?
Grocery bags.
Grocery bags.
Grocery bags.
Gift bags.
Oh, I love gift bags, especially when it talks about cake by the ocean. It is the Fan Show, brought to you by Prize Picks. I believe, do we have Luke Evangelist ready, or is that not ready to roll just yet, Mr. Nick Savage? I don't see him.
Yeah, he's back here.
Is he not checking in with Buppy?
We'll check in with Buppy.
Yeah, we'll check in with Buppy here in a second. All right, guys, let's talk about Marcel and some of his struggles or lack thereof, because I think when it comes to Marcel and this Aggie football team, you got to look at the totality of the work. You got to look at the 4 quarters. While there were some throws he missed early, he was excellent late, and that's kind of been his story as an Aggie. Hunter, start us off.
Yeah, again, I just wasn't overly concerned last week. Yeah, maybe didn't make the best decisions on some of those deeper routes, but I mean, the one to the Swede hits him right in the face mask. I mean, catch the ball. I'm just not overly worried about it. But if he could do the check downs, make some easier passes, I was saying this, design some just simple passes, 5 to 15 yards right off the bat. I think it'll help him calm down.
Space and let them do what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me. I'm the same with you. I'm not concerned. I've seen progression from last year to this year. I've seen a better Marcel Reed, but I think Steve McGee kind of nailed it a little bit. We were just talking about a little jumpy with his reads, and it's the hitching, and that affects his timing. And so that's just something, and you can work it out, but you're not going to work it out in a week generally. It's something you can work out. So I think we'll continue to see progression within the season as well, because Steve McGee's seeing it, which means they're seeing it across the street.
Yeah.
It's just something to work on.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. You see our receivers who are running literally wide open down the field, and he overthrows them or he underthrows them or something, right? So I get that the issues with the deep ball that we've seen, because there's been so many of them. We tried a lot of deep shots and we've missed a lot of them. I get it, but at the end of the day, I mean, 5-0. It's those things can improve and can get better. And I'll say this too, everyone keeps harping on our third down percentage, which is not great. I think we're like 111th in third down conversions in the country. But I think that gets cleaned up really quick if we start eliminating some of these dadgum penalties.
Plus, you threw a deep ball and you get a pass interference with the Bethel Roman, right?
Yeah.
Turn around right after that, throw a fairly deep ball, and Seven takes it in the end zone. So.
Yeah, hey, and Nate Berkacher, that was phenomenal what he did there.
Yeah.
He needs a little more credit. I mean, he's sitting there, and he pushed that. I've never seen that. I mean, I didn't see that with some of with some of the old teams, and so I just love the fact that those guys are putting in that kind of effort.
Yeah, we harped on it, man. You see wide receivers blocking on the on the exterior. It's a whole team effort, man.
So let's do this. I want to ask you guys about Cassius Howell before we go, but let's check in the lobby because Buppy's Catering and Bartending brought us some food again. Luke Evangelist is going to get the insight from Buppy's. What do we have there today, Luke?
Mr. Buppy, what do we have here today?
Oh, thank you for having us. We've got Buppy's famous fried catfish, grilled shrimp, hush puppies, black-eyed peas, rice pilaf, and our world-famous bread pudding.
I need to get into that bread pudding. Give me your thoughts on the game this week against Florida.
I thought, all in all, it was great victory. The 12th man was unbelievable. The blackout and just seeing some of the moves by Marcel Reed was very incredible. And just Coach Elko, we trust. TexAgs, we trust. And one thing in Buppy, we trust with the 12th man and Kyle Field. I feel good about every game we play.
You thinking A&M's going to beat Florida this week?
I do. With all what we have and Coach Elko and everything he's doing and the 12th man, there's no doubt.
Absolutely no doubt. And back to you, David.
No doubt. Thank you very much. Gwen Stefani, by the way. All right, guys. Cassius Howell.
Whoa.
You get some sacks this weekend?
Yes.
I heard somebody say that he is the player of the year on defense in the SEC this year.
So far.
I mean, he's been unreal.
Was he second in the nation in sacks? Leads the SEC, I believe. He's got 7 on the year.
And DJ Lagway, who's not extremely mobile right now, so that aims for a big day for him.
Yeah, big day for a lot of people, probably.
Yeah. And it's not just sacks too. I mean, the quarterback hurries. I mean, look. I mean, the tip balls. I mean, he's just been
tackle
a game
for
record.
loss. He's a menace.
Yeah, he really is.
He has been a menace. So is Damian Sanford, guys.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, boys. Hey, that's the definition of next man up. Scooby goes down, he comes in, and he's been fantastic.
And when Scooby comes back, like, what do you do?
And I think he may be back this week, and Coach Elko alluded to that. Bryce Anderson should be back. He's not on the injury report. So getting healthy when you need to be healthy. Hopefully that continues.
Yeah, normally in the time of season where you're starting to get unhealthy.
Yeah.
This is the time of year where you start taking those dings in conference play.
And also, guys, the fact that Le'Veon was not able to finish the game last week, or he probably could have, but they decided they didn't need to do it. Ruben Owens proved he can be that guy too.
What a performance.
Yeah, I mean,
he was fun to watch. I mean, that's what we've been waiting to see, right?
Yeah. I mean, 5-star coming out. I mean, come in and he's got his opportunity.
he's been doing it this year, right? When there's limited opportunities, he's been scooting. He's had the 20, 30-yard runs, and he put together several of those.
Well, yeah, when he's had his opportunities, he's shown the flashes. It's just been, you lean heavy on Moss or don't run the ball enough.
Well,
and kind of game plan.
And when Morrow touched the ball, well, he's pretty darn electric too. So
yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Condensed Fan Show. All right, that's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Thursday. Tomorrow on the show, the McKinney brothers, Billy Lucci, and SEC Mike. He'll probably have a 16th in the SEC. It's TexAgs Live.